It's time to hack the movies.
Hello, Joe. Hello, Tom.
How you doing, Tony?
Hey,
I'm
Tony.
doing great. Just me and my normal friends, Joe and Tom. Everyone knows them. They're very familiar with Tom. They're like, Tom's my favorite, a lot of them say.
I say it even.
You know, this is the first time I met you, but I feel like I've known you my whole life.
I get that. You know what happens.
Yeah, so if you've gone into the Hack the Movies backlog on the early years of us on YouTube, some of you might have found a video of me and Tom reviewing Terminator Genesis right after we saw it. So when I came back, I came up with this idea for Worst Terminator Movie. One, I was like, well, I got to bring in Joe because he's a big Terminator 3 fan. He bought all the toys. And then I was like, wait, Tom, I got to get him on the show finally because me and him saw, we'll find out if it's the worst, but definitely not one of the good ones together.
Yeah,
So
I think we can all agree on that.
here
Yes.
we're all here to talk about Terminator. And I brought my Terminator 3 Arnold cutout, which usually is over there hiding.
Thank you for bringing me here, Tony. I wanted to be on the Terminator episode.
And I put him here. I put him front and center for everyone. Yeah, we're going to figure out, like, what is the worst Terminator. Now, we love Terminator movies growing up, I assume.
Oh,
right?
yeah, big time.
Yeah.
That was the trifecta, man. Aliens, Predator, and Terminator.
Yes.
And then RoboCop.
I like RoboCop way more than Terminator. But anyway.
No, I agree.
Yeah. That I've said it many times, that one RoboCop movie is better than every Terminator.
Yeah.
Hold on, that's everyone leaving the episode right now.
I mean, I'm glad I'm here because I'm still going to pick Terminator.
Somebody in the comments is going to be like, he said trifecta, but he said 4 different movies.
So, yeah, Terminator was a huge franchise, big in the 80s, and then got even bigger in the 90s, and then it gets real hit or miss for people afterwards. So what was your first Terminator experience?
I think my first Terminator experience was T2.
Okay. That seems to be a lot of people.
I didn't see the first one till I was older.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, until I was like in my like early teens.
Yes.
I went back to it because Terminator 2, it was on TV a lot. You know,
Yeah.
91 it comes out.
Yeah.
And again, I think we talked a little bit about the Alien episode. Terminator 2 was in there with like Aliens and Predator 2. Mm-hmm. And plus the toys and everything, man.
Yeah.
Like I had a lot of the did Kenner put those out too?
Actually, I'm glad you asked. Tom, in front of you, we have a John Connor Terminator 2 toy.
Yeah, they did.
Can you see if that's Kenner?
Sure is.
It is Kenner, yeah.
Kenner kind of like dominated those films for Alien,
Actually,
Predator,
I
and
remember
Terminator.
having old comic books for advertisements for like the Alien 3 game. I think there was a Predator 2 game and a Terminator 2 game, like on one sheet.
Yeah, there was a Genesis Predator 2 game. Mhm.
Yes. So what was your first experience with Terminator? When did you get introduced to the series?
Actually, it was my dad. He had gotten, in the old DVDs, they had like the mail-in slips. If you bought enough DVDs, he got the Terminator movies for free.
Oh, man. My dad used to do that with CDs.
Did you watch them in order or?
So I watched the first one and the second one.
Okay. So growing up, I definitely saw clips from Terminator 2 first. Mm-hmm. I definitely saw it in segments.
We also went to Disney, and I think the ride was a big one for me too.
Oh yes,
the
3D
Battle
ride,
Through Time,
3D ride.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, should we include that as a movie? I didn't put that on my list.
I consider it the true Terminator 3.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Scared the shit out of me as a kid.
I didn't think we were going to talk about. I totally forgot about that experience. I guess we're talking about it. Yeah. We're including that in our list. Anyway, yeah. So I definitely saw bits and pieces of Terminator 2 because again, early '90s, they're playing it a lot. Things are referencing it. But the first one I saw in full was Terminator 1. So I got lucky. I got to see like the first one. And then I went and saw the second one, and I'm like, oh, so now it's nice to see this movie in order.
So that's what happened.
Yeah, that's weird. I thought he melted, but then he's shooting people in a building. Like, I'm okay. Now I know. Yeah, and then I got really hooked on those. I got the DVDs. I have my special edition of Terminator 2 right there.
Oh, there you go. I remember that one.
Yeah,
you still have that one? That one's
still have
long
it.
gone.
Yeah, and then I have this lenticular one. No special features, but it's a nice lenticular one. We have here the Terminator Collection. It's the first 2 tapes and a behind-the-scenes booklet. I'm thinking of doing a Patreon video where I just open this bad boy and talk about it.
Do it, man.
So anyway, so I got introduced to Terminator 1. Really, really liked it and went through the franchise and have opinions. So yeah, let's let's find out what is the worst Terminator movie. Now, in the year of darkness, 2029. Shit, I didn't realize it was around the corner. The rulers of this planet devised the ultimate plan. They will reshape the future by changing the past. The plan. Are you guys going to do this for all 6 of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
No pain, no fear. They create the Terminator. A brilliant flash of light and an ear-splitting explosion mark the arrival of the Terminator. A cyborg, part man, part machine. There's some.
No, it's just machine.
No, we'll talk about that in a second.
outside parts?
Sent to the present day Earth
only way they can
from
time
the
travel.
future on a deadly mission. His task to kill a young woman whose life will have great significance in the decades to come. The mechanical monster from the future leaves behind him an unspeakable path of destruction. Nothing can stop the horrific Terminator.
TM.
Yes. This movie is great. I mean, James Cameron, it all came from his mind. I don't know why they acknowledge another sci-fi writer in the credits, but it all came from James Cameron's mind.
Has nothing to do with that short story that was written by that guy that nobody remembers the name of.
What was the name? Robert Heinlein? Or is that someone else?
I actually didn't realize it.
Yeah.
And then one day.
Did you know about this? The first Terminator, it literally ends. The guy died a few years back.
Yeah.
It literally ends like, we would like to acknowledge the works of this person, because he like saw the movie and was like, wait a minute, this uses a lot of my shit.
Somebody read my story and made a new one.
Yeah,
using the same idea.
There definitely was some legal stuff that happened, and I think that's what they settled on. They're like, all right, here's some hush money, we'll give you a shout out. But no, this is the one I watched the most.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
I feel like this one's streaming the most out of all of them. I know right now a lot of them are streaming, but I feel like Terminator 1 is like always on Amazon Prime or Tubi.
I guess.
Yeah. No, I love it because I was, like I said, I was a big horror guy and a big sci-fi guy, and this is a nice marriage of the two.
Big time.
The effects are amazing. We talked about the
Stan Winston stuff.
So when the Terminator gets his eye injured and he's like cutting out the eye, it's a great practical effect head. I should have used quicker cuts of it, because at one point it like lingers a little too long when it puts the glasses on. It's like,
It's 1984. I mean, we definitely just saw The Thing.
Yes.
Right? But
I'm just saying,
this is impressive.
It's impressive, but quicker edits would have hit that a little bit more.
I agree. Especially when you're watching it in HD.
Yes.
You're like, oh.
Yeah, this is the case of like the more HD it gets, the more you start to pick apart some stuff. You're like, oh, there's a string carrying that miniature of a truck.
Yeah, well, also you got to consider that they film these things not knowing, like thinking, oh, well, they won't see that because the film that we're shooting on, like they'll never see that because that's the best it's going to get.
Home video was not, like, it was a thing, but it wasn't as big as it was. This is still in that era where like tapes are expensive.
Nobody's going to see that man in Donatello's mouth. Don't worry about it.
Not once.
But yeah, no, to your point, yeah.
Yes, yes. But no, I love the story that someone came up with. I like the character of Sarah. Is really good in this.
She's great, man.
Yeah, the characters are just very likable. I really like Reese. I love they knew they couldn't do like this whole future thing. So they give you little glimpses of it, and all the little glimpses are awesome. Like,
but it works like so well.
Dude, that scene of like the rubber Terminators coming in and their eyes glowing is so fucking cool.
It was easy to spot those ones.
Yeah, literally easy to
the
spot.
Miniatures and the stop motion stuff in the first one.
Yeah.
And again, we talked about
the endoskeleton at the end is a little dodgy, but the miniatures are good.
It's gorgeous, in my opinion. I love it. Big Harryhausen fan, but we talked about it on the Alien episode about how Aliens has that kind of gritty air about it.
This definitely has a gritty look to it.
It's the same feel. Would you agree?
Oh, definitely.
It's like kind of, well, it's Cameron, but like, you know what I mean?
There are little camera tricks, like the chase scene. You tell they just like shot it at a lower frame rate, so it's a little faster.
Yeah, no, sure.
The stop motion is really good. I just think it's the rear projection that they're filming it on. It doesn't blend well at all. Actually, someone like digitally, they made it look exactly the same, but they put a digital model over it and color corrected to make it like blend a little bit better. I'm like, that's actually pretty cool.
It was a low budget flick.
Yeah.
Somebody took a chance on this movie.
Yes.
And they were like, okay, James Cameron, let's see what you got.
Yes. And what do you think of Arnold? Are you guys Arnold fans?
Yeah.
You guys really like Arnold?
Yeah,
I don't.
sure.
I mean, yeah, he's fine.
Okay, so
I
you
have
guys
no
like the
issues.
Republican that hosted The Apprentice. Anyway, so what did you think about him in this movie? Would you have cast a robot that needs to blend? I get everyone.
You
with
were
that.
fucking baiting me.
I
Is
get
what it was.
everyone with
That's
that
why I was
one.
like, yeah.
So no one ever sees it coming. They should really know by now.
I didn't.
I'm just saying, is he not? Yeah, it's so funny that like I think someone might have called James Cameron out on it because didn't Cameron not want Arnold? There was like something there
That I don't know.
because
But
originally it was going to be Lance Henriksen.
oh, that would have been bad.
Lance Henriksen is in the movie.
That would have been
Well,
bad.
no, the idea is like the Terminator's an infiltration thing.
Unassuming, yeah.
He should blend in, but I kind of like the idea of that. Like the robots are dumb, and they're like, "Oh, well, we have to make man. Let's make him the most perfect physical specimen ever in this universe where everyone's starving and they're super thin. He'll blend in right away."
But it kind of makes sense because that's how they would calculate it, right?
And it's funny.
Well,
when
this
it
is a
leads to the
perfect
second one, which
exactly.
we'll talk about. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like how they're like, yes, we need to send the robot back in time. Make sure it's a big guy. Hey, they're in Los Angeles. What kind of accent should he have? Like, oh, Austrian for sure.
Nice night for a walk.
I'm sure there were Austrians who lived in LA. It's like, yeah, well, should we want to give him like more of like an American accent? No, Austrian. There you go. There you go.
I'm surprised they didn't dub him over.
I mean, I feel like they just couldn't afford Lou Ferrigno at that point. I mean,
Well, they're
come on,
already-
really.
Yeah.
Well, Arnold's
He had
already
a career at that point.
Arnold's
Well-
already kind of a name at this point because he had already done Conan the Barbarian,
Okay.
Pump and Iron, which is
Yeah,
a really
Pump
great
and Iron.
documentary. And he's already like a millionaire at this point.
Hercules in New York. Yeah.
Hercules in New York, where some versions he is dumb.
Yeah, that's what I'm
some versions of that movie he's dumb.
Are we talking about good Arnold movies? Are we talking about twins now?
sorry.
We're going to talk about twins?
Terminator.
We got to do True Lies.
It is funny.
We're getting.
So of course this is the origin of like several big catchphrases, and of course one of them is "Come with me if you want to live," which they do in all of them almost.
No, they actually do it in 3.
And of course the famous "I'll be back," which Arnold couldn't pronounce. He didn't want to do that line. He's like, "Hey, I'm really having trouble with this."
I'll be back.
So he wanted to say, "I will be back," because he had trouble saying "I'll." Because he's like, "Hey, James, if I say this, it's going to sound weird and people might make fun of me for 40 years. And James Cameron said, "You're going to do it the way I said you're going to do it." So that's where you get the famous "I'll be back." Which everyone always remembers the quote, but like that scene, like the setup for that scene is so great.
It's
It
awesome.
is. There's really only like one complaint on my end, and that's just a continuity error.
What's the continuity here?
So if you pay attention, when the car, so when you see the reverse shot of the cop sitting there at the desk,
Yeah.
when you see the headlights of the car coming through, you know it's about to come through, and
Yeah.
then when the car comes through, there's no headlights on.
Maybe he shut him off like right before he came in.
So like the clue of the car's coming, these are the headlights coming. You can see it on the headlights are off.
Maybe they busted
Maybe
when he drove.
I didn't think about that.
the front of the precinct.
But this is where I'm ending the episode.
Worst Terminator movie ever.
Worst Terminator. Can you imagine a Terminator movie with continuity?
Are you kidding
As long
me?
as there's no like time travel continuity, we'll
Yeah.
be fine.
No.
Maybe for a minute, like the timeline skipped and he did.
Maybe
Anyway.
that's what it was.
So did someone go back?
Yeah.
You know,
But
Hold on. You know what? We'll patch that up because
right.
you know what? I'm sure it exists in Genesis.
Yeah.
Why those headlights are off?
you're right.
So I like I said, I really love the idea of the Terminator in this, and I love how like they technically like if they got like the army or something, they could figure out a way to kill this thing.
Sure.
But they don't have access to it because it's just a crazy guy from the future and a waitress who's like, I don't know what's going on.
That's the best part.
And he's
Nobody's
just
going to
on-
believe him.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
on
and the
PCP.
cops-
like
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
just thinks he's a guy running around on PCP
He's
the whole time.
he's dressed like a bum. He's got a sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now, if I were them, I'd be like, what's the nearest military base? We're going to lure him there. Because he even says, like, can we kill him? And he's like, with these weapons? Probably not. Like, he can be killed, but it's like,
I mean,
it's going to take a lot to kill this dude.
I think Kyle also knew that, like, if they took him to a military base, that's end game for Skynet anyway. Because oh, here you go.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
They were like, oh,
I mean,
well,
they do it anyway at
yeah,
the
yeah.
end, but
But yeah, it's again, the plot is pretty simple. Girl's gonna get wiped out. Good guy goes back in time to save her. Bad guy goes back in time to kill her. Get used to that. They kind of do, and the music's cool. The
Music's
synth,
great.
like,
Music's great.
Yeah.
I love the music.
so yeah, Terminator. This one's good. We're gonna say this one's good. Not the worst.
It's not the worst.
it's not the worst.
Okay, just making sure it's not the worst. Okay,
It's
okay.
good, suspenseful, action. brought me in. I stayed,
You're Terminator, fucker. I love that line. That one doesn't get quoted as much, but I really like that one. But yeah, you got likable characters. You got an interesting premise. You get a little bit of wiggle room for a sequel. There's all good stuff there.
If you need it.
If you need it. I usually just watch this one. I really, really like this movie. It's my favorite one.
We'll get to it.
But now we'll talk about everyone else's favorite one.
He said he'd be back. Arnold Schwarzenegger returns as the Terminator in this explosive action-adventure spectacle. His mission? To protect John Connor, the boy destined to lead the freedom fighters of the future. His opponent? The T-1000, the most lethal machine ever created, sent back through time to kill young John.
Oh, no.
His ally? Sarah Connor.
Oh, no.
John's mother. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I hit that, mother. This is cursed, isn't it?
I'm still following.
Oh, here we go. Linda Hamilton co-stars, reprising her role as the quintessential survivor, a woman warrior whose warnings go unheeded by a world careening toward a nuclear holocaust she knows is inevitable.
I don't hear the word careening a lot, but keep going.
Yeah.
I always hear it in reference to like a car going off a road.
Yeah.
I never heard it like that.
That's kind of the way we're going, right? Like, let's just keep, we'll keep
Anyway.
making the fucking killer robot shit. Somebody careened this series into the sun. Co-written, produced, and directed by James Cameron. The Terminator. Aliens.
Oh.
The Abyss.
I'm waiting for that one.
T2 is a tour de force of stunts and astounding special effects built around a touching and emotional human story. Visually stunning, unexpectedly moving, the film is a true epic.
Ooh, wow.
This must be like the re-release.
Did it have to specify human story?
Because you can't just care about the Terminators.
Okay.
Real
Right?
quick. When was the
There's
first?
feelings.
It's almost like a movie full of robot fights wouldn't really make a good movie because you need like plot and stuff, right?
The hell movies are you watching?
I don't.
Real quick. When was the first Terminator? 1984?
84.
Okay. Yes. So Terminator, like you said, we get introduced John Connor. We see him in the future looking all cool and stuff. And then we just cut to 7-year-old John Connor. Oh, he looks like a 7-year-old if I've ever seen one. Does he look 7 to you? That looks like an action figure of a 7-year-old boy. He is the most 12, 13-year-old, 7-year-old boy I've ever seen.
I think that is the most nitpickiest thing you could say about this film.
It's just, why not set it a few years later?
I thought he was 10.
Is he supposed to be 10?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be 10.
Well, I just did the math, and he should be 7. So he's
wow. Are you trying to say that, like, the Terminator 2 movie is wrong?
James Cameron is wrong?
Yes. Yes. 7-year-old boy, John Connor.
At least he's not 25 or something. Like a set,
Yeah. Not like Robin and Batman Forever.
Yes, exactly.
The kid's got nowhere to go. The 25-year-old kid?
The 25-year-old, 15-year-old.
I think he might have an apartment somewhere. Anyway.
We're talking about Drake Bell? What?
You hang around a lot of biker bars, Arnold.
So Terminator 2. The plot is Terminator 1, but bigger and badder. Like good bad, not bad bad.
This is the only way you do the sequel.
Yes. Unfortunately, this starts the trend of something that would have been awesome to see in the movie, and it got spoiled in the trailer.
He was programmed to destroy the future.
You don't know what it's like to try to kill one of these things.
Now his mission
Get down.
is to protect it.
Come with me if you want to live.
Like, I did not see the trailer for the first one.
Okay.
So when I actually went and watched this, like I said, I saw scenes here and there, but I didn't really know what was going on. So when I saw this movie for the first time, all the way through, the first act, it's like, oh, that T-1000 is like a good guy. He's there to save him from that bad guy.
Must be, because Arnold was a bad Terminator in the first one.
Yeah, he's a
And
police
then-
officer. We always trust police officers.
Yes, always. And the T-1000 is like personable. Like he has more of a personality than the T-800. Like he's able to like talk normally to people.
Do you have a photograph of John?
Yeah, and he like kind of
The Galleria?
Yeah, the Galleria. He like kind of smiles and stuff. Like he can do stuff to blend in a little bit better.
Yeah.
So when you watch this, you're like, oh, he's the good guy. Arnold's clearly the bad guy. And then there's that amazing twist where Arnold shoots the T-1000 and goes, "Come, like I'm here to protect you and whatnot.
Come with me if you want to live."
Yeah, and then they put it in like the teasers and trailers.
Well, because he's got to say the line, Tony.
Yeah, but wouldn't you want to wait for the movie to see that?
I'm sure
That
James Cameron was upset. He worked very hard on this movie.
Yeah, it's like wow, it's the setup is so great. It would have been such a good like twist. And again, it's not the last movie that does that.
No,
but
unfortunately,
no, this movie is really, really good. It is like everything from the first film got better. The stunts got bigger. The effects got bigger. The music is now orchestrated and like with a bigger orchestra, and it sounds even better.
This is a monumental FX achievement.
Yes,
between ILM and Stan Winston Studios.
Yes, the CGI water in Abyss did so well that they like let's try liquid metal now.
Yeah, all they did was change the color.
Yeah,
if I'm going to be realistic, like literally it's the same
and
thing.
They made
just
it more
changed
reflective
the color by changing the color.
For 91, it's really it's really impressive.
Oh, it's great,
dude! It still holds up. Did you guys watch like did you watch a Blu-ray of this?
I watched it in 4K actually, and it's just
it's crazy how much it holds up.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Like the effects.
Yes. I was always a little confused by the liquid metal. I'm just like, all right. So they say like you need to nothing dead can go through the time displacement thing.
Right.
You need to have flesh. So it's like, does he show up in a flesh shoot and then discard it? And we never see that. Because
like, maybe it confuses it enough because the alloy can.
I don't know if that's how that works.
I don't know. Does the alloy contain organic elements?
I don't know, but it is an awesome effect. It's really, really cool, and I love like the limitations he has, where it's just like, yeah, he can only form knives and stabbing weapons.
Knives and stabbing weapons.
Now, if they can grow flesh, couldn't they just grow flesh around a nuclear bomb? Couldn't they put a nuclear bomb in a Terminator and just grow flesh around?
Don't worry, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Don't you worry. You'll get your wish.
What's your favorite stunt in this film?
I would definitely have to say the... Oh, God, there's so many stunts.
There's
so much good special effects.
I just stopped myself, too, because
I would have to say the truck scene with the motorbike and the...
Yeah.
And like the sewerway, the drainway.
The truck going off into the LA River there.
And then just when he thinks, like, oh, I'll get away with him, just like flies over the top. It's like, jeez.
Yeah, and then this is, like you said, the 90s were like so good for special effects.
Well, it's all practical because that's why it looks good and it's going to hold up.
It's practical, it's in camera.
Mm-hmm.
And like, look, you can have good CGI effects, just we'll get there, but this series does not utilize them well.
No.
But that's why like scenes like this are so memorable, because nothing like that had really been seen before. Like there's a truck chase in the first one, but it's not on this level.
Not
it doesn't
like
look
this,
nearly as good as this.
We get two big ones like
We get two big chases.
Yeah.
Oh, the helicopter.
The helicopter at the end? Holy shit.
Where if you look, the T-1000 has 4 arms in that scene.
What?
You never seen the close-ups of that?
No.
Yeah, the T-1000, he has 4 arms, so
he's like piloting and then shooting.
He grows 2 arms to pilot, and then he has. There were alternate angles that showed it more, but in the final film, you have to look really close. Like, oh shit, he's got 4 arms.
Is that in the extended cut?
No, I think it's in the final cut. Funny you mentioned the extended cut,
which is my favorite version of this film. It's the definitive version of this film, in my opinion.
I think the ending's pretty cool. Is the ending with her at the park in that? Okay.
So, well, no, it's the bow on the thing, and it's like, here's Terminator 1 and Terminator 2. We did it. It was a great story. We loved it. Thank you, James Cameron, for that tour de force of futuristic machines and apocalyptic
have you ever seen
Fallout.
The extended cut?
What's the difference?
So she has like a dream where she meets Kyle Reese, and Kyle's like, you got to protect her. So I'm good with cutting that scene out.
I mean,
it's nice to see Kyle Reese again, but I don't think you needed the scene.
I don't think it needs to be there, but I mean, I don't know. I guess, again, definitively to tell the story, I think it's fine.
Yeah. So that's their, this CPU, the rebooting the brain, where he takes the chip out and everything and reboots it. That's from the extended cut. That's not in the theatrical cut. Where she like almost breaks his processor.
Yeah.
Talk about great effects. She just died. Linda Hamilton had a twin sister look just like her.
Oh, wow.
So it's one of the coolest things.
I didn't know that.
Wait, you didn't know? You didn't know how they did this?
I did. Well, I didn't know that was it. I know the twins from Gremlins 2 that they did. I didn't know
Yes,
Linda.
the twins from Gremlins 2. We'll get to that scene.
Yeah.
But so how they did the processor scene. So it's Linda Hamilton with a prosthetic, like an animatronic, like Arnold digging in his head, and a body double of John Connor.
Okay.
And then they have the mirror, but it's not really a mirror.
Oh,
and on the other side is Linda Hamilton, or vice versa.
Yeah,
Linda Hamilton's
mirroring.
twin, who looks exactly like her, the real Arnold, and the real John, and the camera's moving around. That's how they got that shot.
I know that they did that, but I didn't know that I didn't know they were twins.
Yeah, Linda
I knew it was
Hamilton
that-
had an
yeah.
identical twin. I think she died last year
That's
or something.
insane.
This is when it starts to take like a change from the original, where like there's this new element of we got to stop Judgment Day,
Yeah.
which I wasn't too into. I'm like, no, I want to see the robots. I want to see that eventually. But yeah, so they went.
Tony
like,
standing there on the fence shaking.
Oh, yeah.
Like a nuclear explosion.
but that's like what kind of like triggers it. By the way, that nuclear explosion was the most horrifying thing to watch as a kid.
Dude, it's terrifying.
It is. It still gives me the chills. I'm just like, because like it's when they all bow down and then they just start sizzling. I'm like, oh god.
There's something about this film that everybody forgets that when we go into the sequels, I'll mention again, but like this movie is scary.
Yeah.
This is an action movie, but it still retains those horror elements.
Yeah.
I mean, T-1000 is fucking terrifying in this.
Yes.
Robert Patrick's amazing.
Scary as
Like,
shit.
and
His running is the most intimidating running I've
Well,
ever seen.
Did you ever see the behind the scenes of them like scanning him for running? It's him in tighty whities with just grids painted on him so they could like film it and be able to match it. But like that's what now you would wear like a motion capture suit, but that's what they had to do back then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he is horrifying.
Yeah. And just the way it's shot and everything,
Yes.
you know?
And yeah, that nuclear, like the nuclear. I said it right.
Nuclear. What is it, 1959? Godzilla.
Yeah.
Godzilla.
So when they blow up, like that's the scariest thing. And then like when her like skin comes off, like ashes.
She like goes into flames and then her
And it's
flesh
cool.
melts
It like
off.
hits in waves.
So she
Yeah,
says
yeah.
like one of the things that's cool when you watch the first one is like they mention a lot of the stuff, but they don't show it.
Mm-hmm.
You see a little bit of the war afterwards. But then in this movie, she's talking about how like she saw like she has nightmares of them turning to ash and whatnot, and you think that's all you're gonna get. But then it's like, no, you're gonna see that scene of them all just like melting, and then it's her in the dream sequence. She's like watching herself.
Yeah. Doesn't fucking matter. You don't fucking matter. He doesn't fucking matter. We're all fucking dead.
They do the whole subplot of trying to stop Judgment Day, and I love that we find out that it's eventually a causality loop, where it's like, oh, so leaving the Terminator pieces behind at that thing, which originally the first one they were going to show it was Cyberdyne,
Right.
they decided not to.
Right.
Leaving the Terminator pieces there is how Miles Dyson got the idea to make all the stuff, which led to Judgment Day. And it's like, but how did the Terminator get there originally if he had to have been there? Causality loop. It's just
That one I can deal with.
Yeah, that one.
That one I can.
That one's
I can
not
just.
so bad.
I can just let that slide because
was Judgment
because-
Day going to happen anyway, and
Well,
they just changed it a little bit?
We want to watch 3 and
But this-
5
th-
again? I mean, just
This would have been a thing where it's just like, well, actually doing that, it sped up Judgment Day, and now we're going to get the scary Terminators even earlier.
quicker. I
Yeah.
think that's what it is, and it's that thing where like, you know, this is going to sound ridiculous, but I'm going to like think about the Library of Alexandria.
Okay.
I think we've talked about this before, where there was shit that was figured out and methods of doing things that are completely lost to time, but then we figured out how to do them again.
Yeah.
Maybe not as good,
Yeah.
but now
Not as well.
Not as well.
Proper grammar.
Oh,
was
excuse
burned
the
at
hell out of me.
Library of Alexandria.
really.
It's really. It's a very
Welcome to the
enigmatic
show, Tom.
thing, you know.
Whatever. I can't pronounce Saul.
We're people, not cybernetic organisms.
Cybernetic organ. Okay, wait. We forgot to go into that. So Cyborg. He technically can be a cyborg because he does have living organic matter tied to him, but he can live without it and become a full-on machine.
So then, no, he's not a cyborg because a cyborg has to work with human parts. He only they just have a covering. Do you agree?
Yeah.
No, I think you're right.
No, he doesn't need the human parts. I mean, I always said like he is a cyborg that can be a machine. That's it. Like RoboCop's a true cyborg.
No, yeah, and we
Yes.
do get a true cyborg a little bit later. We'll talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the catchphrases, "Hasta la vista, baby." There's that. What's the other one?
Chill out, dickwad.
Yeah.
Fuck you little dipshit.
That was one of my favorite parts of the first one. He's like trying to think of what to say to the guy. And it's like, "Fuck you, asshole."
Yeah, fuck you, asshole.
Any negatives for you guys in this movie?
I was not a fan of the product placement during the initial teleportation into the movie scene because they had a Dunkin' Donuts product in there. In the first movie, they were too good for that. They're like, we don't need product placement. This is the first movie. We're awesome. The second one's like, nah, we're sellouts now.
Yeah, I hate when things sell out. And you know what? I think I will talk more about sellouts on patreon.com/hackthemovies. And, oh man, sorry, I just need to stretch. What's that, Joe? Oh, yes, you can get this at Teespring.
Oh, yeah.
This t-shirt.
Can you?
Yes. Still can't get the Tony Peak shirt. Still didn't get it back up on the store yet. Still having issues with that. But you can get this. Actually, no, you can't get this on Teespring. You can get this on the Screenwave Media Hack the Movie store.
Oh, there you go.
I'm sorry, Tony, where can you get that shirt? I'd really like that shirt. Where can I get
Screenwave
it?
Media store is where you can get the red and white version of the shirt. I will be adding it to all merch stores soon.
It'd be really
Perfect.
convenient if you put the link in the show notes.
Yes,
would.
actually, you know what? There is a link to everywhere where you can buy merch for this show.
Excellent.
And you pick and choose what you like. Patreon, we got some good stuff on Patreon. And anyway, let's get back to the sellout of a movie.
Yeah.
So that's what you didn't like. The Dunkin'
Yeah, I
Donuts.
didn't like that. And I mean,
What about the Guns N' Roses music? Do you think that was just
I'm into it.
I had no issues with that.
do you have any issues with this film?
No. I'm going to say it again. 1 and 2, if you needed to do a sequel, this is the sequel. And then that's it. And again, that extended cut, maybe Battle Through Time, if you want to just
Oh, we're getting there.
tack it on.
We're adding that into the thing.
But that's the perfect package, man. The extended version of T2 and then the first movie, 1 and 2.
Yes, and by the way, since you were asked about the extended cut, at the very end of the extended cut, it cuts to 1997, like a futuristic 1997.
It's the one she sees in her dream.
Yes, and Linda Hamilton
Okay.
is not like scary looking anymore. She looks like a normal old lady.
And John Connor's there with his wife and his kid, and it's nice. And they're
Yes,
like,
and it's like
We did it.
Stopped
We stopped Judgment Day.
The theatrical one really does end on kind of like, did we stop it?
I don't think so, baby.
Find
we need more
out.
Terminator movies.
Find out. But yeah, if I had to do one negative, I fucking hate John Connor in this. I hate him. I hate everything. I hate his stupid hair. I hate all his stupid lines. And watching this movie, I'm like, God damn, I really want the machines to win. Fuck this kid. I hate this kid. I don't like seeing Good Guy Arnold. I can never 100% buy Good Guy Arnold.
Really?
He's a robot.
I know it makes sense for the story and everything,
Yeah.
for the twist that they spoiled.
Yeah.
But on a personal thing, like I always like, it's like me with Godzilla. Godzilla's mostly a good guy, but my favorites are the ones where he's a bad guy. So
No,
for me,
sure.
I'm just like, all right, I get it. I'm like, I don't really want to see like the Terminator hanging out with the stupid fucking kid. Like that's dumb.
You're ageist. Yeah. It's the only movie where I find Edward Furlong tolerable.
Not in The Crow, Wicked Prayer.
Not in Pet Cemetery?
Cemetery 2.
Do not besmirch the name of the first Pet
No,
Cemetery.
that's actually fine because he's about the same age.
7?
Teen.
10.
He's 12 in that. No.
Oh, you know what? Maybe he's being more annoying because he's playing a 7-year-old. I do like how they dispose of the Terminators in this with the liquid metal. Oh, and
Yeah.
the melted
molten,
steel.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Okay. Before we move on to Terminator 3.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
So
I have more to complain about Terminator 2 if you want.
no.
Okay.
Okay, what is it?
Well, it's just one thing.
What?
It's about the ending scene. Because the CGI on the profile view is like
Oh, for which?
just the profile view of the T-1000
when he
Melton.
reforms? Oh, yeah.
Like the overhead shot looks
Cool.
flawless to me, but they like cut very briefly to a profile and it looks like hot garbage.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, really? He looks
by the way-
immaculate the entire movie, and then just for like that one shot, they're like, eh.
All right. This is the question I want to ask you guys. Now, are you guys like smart or were you one of the idiot kids who thought that was a lava factory?
I never thought it was a lava factory.
I knew kids who swore it was lava. And I'm like, why would there be a factory of lava?
It's not a volcano.
Are you still friends with them?
No.
Okay.
There
Might be for the
are
better.
people who swore it was lava. And then when I had to point out like all the stuff, they didn't want to admit that they were wrong. And they were like, no, it's lava, you idiot. I'm like,
smelting
what?
plant or something, right?
I'm like,
It's a steel place.
it's a steelworks, yeah. Well, I'm glad I'm here with two smart people.
Who said it?
Huh?
Who said the lava factory?
No, kids
Oh, I thought
growing
you
up.
meant who said there's two smart people.
No, kids growing up swore it was the lava. It was the lava factory.
I've never heard anybody say that.
Speaking of totally moronic, let's go to Terminator 3.
Segways.
Wait, do we? So we're unanimous on? No, you and I are on the same page.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Oh, before we go to Terminator 3, Terminator 2, is it the worst one?
No,
No.
hell no.
No, in my opinion, it's probably the best one. In my opinion.
I would agree with you.
If the first movie had this movie's like effects, cinematography, and music, it would be the first one would be so much more.
But that's what makes the first one nice, because it is
Yes.
the low budget.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
it
But I
makes
think
it
that's
personal.
the only thing that makes
Right.
people think that I think the first one's a better movie. I
Because
think the story in the first one better.
Story-wise,
The characters.
For
yeah.
sure.
I can understand.
There's
and
an iguana in the first one.
I heard a lot of people have said the first one is, it's a slasher movie. And it's like, no, it's a sci-fi movie with horror elements in it.
And also in the first one,
But it does feel
I
like
forgot this little Easter egg.
horror
There's a
movie.
theory that James Cameron is the father of John Connor, not Kyle Reese. Because Sarah Connor is dating a guy and he leaves her a voicemail. And I forget what his name is, but it's played by James Cameron. So theoretically, she could already be pregnant and not know it and just assume it's Kyle. But in theory, James Cameron could be the father.
she gave birth to Sam Worthington, and that was James Cameron's
So anyway, Terminator
prodigy.
3. No, Terminator T2.
are we going chronologically
Sorry,
time-wise?
you're right.
Because
I said prodigy.
Dark-
Protege,
Dark
excuse me.
Fate technically happens after.
Before we move on, we were talking about this before or at the beginning of the episode. T2 3D Battle Through Time.
Yeah.
Only one thing can save you.
I said I'd be back.
Terminator 2 3D Battle Across Time. An incredible new way to ride the movies only at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Are we counting that as a movie?
I counted. It's like an hour. No, it's not. It's like 20 minutes.
Yeah. So that was the ride or the show at Universal Studios where you went into Cyberdyne Industries, which still exists, I guess. And then it's hacked by
A
Sarah.
T1 million is in there.
Well, that's at the very end.
Yeah.
We see like prototype Terminators that are animatronics. Those things are cool.
Oh, on the stage, yeah.
Yeah. I think what made my sister cry when they came out.
Yeah, that was me.
You cried?
Yeah, I was scared shitless.
It's awesome.
It's pretty scary. But yeah, then like John Connor and Sarah Connor, they come out and they're
rope down.
Yeah, they rope down and it's stunt people, but the voice is them.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're gonna stop this place. But then the T-1000 shows up and he looks exactly like he does in the movie for some reason. I guess it's the new T-1000 who found another cop and then dressed like him. But then the T-800 comes through the time portal wearing clothes and with a motorcycle, even though only living things can go through the time portal.
And he drives through the audience.
Yes, and then they all go through the time portal wearing all their clothes because that rule just doesn't count anymore. And this Arnold is the one from Terminator 2 that knows who he is.
You think like he came back? There was a side road they took, right? Instead of the end of Terminator 2, they got like sucked into a time void and went to the future, did this shit, and then came back and then they died. Yeah?
I don't know.
No. It doesn't make any sense.
The story makes no sense for this
It
thing.
makes more sense than Genesis does.
Yeah.
And then there is a fun scene where he fights little robots and shoots, and it turns into a 3D movie.
Yeah.
And then they go to the Skynet pyramid.
Did you just watch this?
No, I saw it
Wow.
many times. in
Wow.
Wait, are you
Universal.
still the ride, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they go in, and then
Just
there's
like
a,
me.
Oh, no, that's pretty. You
there's
got a really good memory.
T1 million. That's a giant spider, liquid metal spider.
Yeah. With the face that comes out, even though
Yes.
it's like the pilot T1000
And
head.
then they blow up, and they go to the future, and they hug.
And then
this one's pretty bad. I mean, it's a fun experience. It's a fun experience, but when people say it's like the real Terminator 3, I'm like, I don't know, this is breaking continuity.
I was
rules
just
all over the place.
I was just kidding.
It's the same as the third one, realistically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine and fun. Motto of the show.
Don't watch it without being at the show.
You can. It's now in Orlando, it's now the Transformers 3D thing. Is it still in California? Let me know.
I don't know. I kind of want to see that, the Transformers one.
The Michael Bay Transformers.
That's okay.
First one, maybe.
Bumblebee was good. I like that.
Utterly spectacular. The best action film in the year, according to Pat Clinton, CNN. 2003 must have been not a great year for action film. Anyway, Arnold Schwarzenegger is back as a time-traveling T-101 Terminator.
That's right.
Well, he's model 101, even though he's the T800.
Oh, yes,
I actually got that.
yes.
It was very confusing.
Oh, so it's a T800
Model 101.
Yes.
Like he says model 101 in the first movie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
With this smash hit directed
We're
by
already fucking it
Jonathan Mastow with dazzling effects. Bravura, B-R-A-V-U-R-A. Bravois?
Can I see?
Bravois thrills.
Bravo.
Right here.
Bravura.
Thrills.
I don't know what that means.
And
Neither do
a
I.
story that boldly spins into the unexpected. This is an event spectacle to see and see again. Now,
Is that like bravado? Like bravura?
I guess.
Brava.
Now, Joe,
Bravo.
as the biggest Terminator 3 fan, because you bought all the toys, every single toy, which you graciously donated to me, and that was probably really hard to part with. And
It was.
And I'm sure seeing them now, you're like, I wish I had all those Terminator
I still can't sleep at night
Yeah.
without my Terminatrix figures.
Yes. So now, why do you love Terminator 3? What was your experience with this film? That you love
So I love Terminator 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, Terminator 3?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
No James Cameron.
No. And I didn't know this at the time because it was 2003.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So what? I was 13, 14?
I think so, yeah.
Something like that. Anyway. I collected McFarlane toys, so I always had all the McFarlane toys. And when T3 was announced and they were doing them, I pre-ordered the set and I got the whole set.
Yeah.
And then the movie came out, and I was like, "Oh, Terminator!" And at that time, it was like, "This is cool because robot shit."
Yes.
But then, if you watch the movie in relation to the other movies, like now, if you go back and watch it, like 1, 2, and 3 in a row, you're like, "What the fuck were they thinking? Like this is such a bad idea." And it was literally just brought back to fucking I don't know what cash in.
I mean, it's just really just an action flick. That's how I have that's how I have to look at it in order to like get through it. Because if I look at it with the context of like all the lore of everything, you can't. But if you watch it as just like a dumbed down, hey, explosions, look at that truck, this is cool. It's a great movie, honestly.
Well, we talked about this before we got on. Like in a vacuum, in a world where Terminator 1 and 2 don't exist.
Coming this summer.
Terminator 3, the spectacle. There's some cool shit in this.
Oh yeah, the arm of like that another giant truck chasing a smaller truck
crane
scene
thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's kinda cool.
It's badass.
Especially-
Well, it's all practical effects, like all of it.
Until it flips over and it's CGI.
Yeah, until
CG.
it flips over. But regardless,
I
they
think-
destroyed
I think-
2 blocks.
I think Christopher Nolan was in the theaters being like, I'm going to do that with a real truck, to be honest.
He just recycles old footage. It's okay.
I think they stretched themselves out too much with this in terms of like the CG, because some of the CG in this is fucking downright awful.
This is the era of rubbery looking CGI body doubles.
Terminator 2.
Yeah. Well,
Terminator 2 comes out almost a decade
but
before
they
it.
weren't doing CGI body doubles at that point. The T-1000, but he's like a silver chrome man.
Then
Dan Winston was still on 3, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
I'm pretty
but
sure.
for all the practical effects,
All
not
the practical
CGI.
effects,
The
yeah.
practical effects are
Okay.
fine in this.
Yeah.
Which it's crazy that Stan Winston came back to do it if it was a low budget film or an independent film. It's
It was
strange.
an independent film that was gonna get mass distribution.
Oh, yeah.
It just wasn't made by a big studio. It
It's
was
so
distributed
bonkers.
by a big studio.
Yeah.
Now, people complain about the CGI in this, but it's important to note it's on par with CGI that was in all of these films. Like Matrix 2 is out at this point. The Catwoman movie is on the way. That also has rubbery CGI. Daredevil just came out, rubbery looking CGI doubles.
And it all looks like shit.
Yes, it all looks terrible. But people like single this out. It's like, yeah, but if you like go through the lens where it's like all the movies look like this, it's kind of like, well, it's kind of just doing what all the other shitty films were doing. This isn't its own special brand of shitty CGI wise.
Agreed.
But not all the movies are like, if the movie before it had better effects than the one at, like,
well, they were trying
you can't compare
the movie before it had more restraint with what they were trying to do digitally wise.
Okay.
And
I mean,
yeah.
you can also argue Jurassic Park came out.
Well, that too, duh.
Well, I mean, look at the like Jurassic Park 3,
come
the
on.
CGI, although there are some really good CG moments in that movie, but there's also a lot of bad CG moments at that point. This is when Hollywood was going a little too into the CGI. They thought they had it all figured out. It's like,
Like
this is gonna
Beowulf
look
or whatever.
real bad.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, that's such a strong argument. Like, fucking Jurassic Park. Like,
Stan Winston, once again.
it's Stan Winston,
remember,
but it's not ILM, obviously.
But remember, at this point, they're speeding up productions of stuff. Like first Jurassic Park, it took a couple years to get all that shit figured
No, I know.
out.
Yeah.
This one, it's like, it's got to be out next year.
Yeah.
It's got to get out. We got to get it out quick because once Arnold runs for governor, he's not going to be able to promote the movie. So make sure you get the goddamn movie out quick. That was another thing. This movie was heavily popularized because this is the year Arnold won the election when they recalled Governor Gray Davis.
Right.
And he like announced it on Jay Leno while promoting this movie.
I'm going to be the governor. I'm going to see Terminator 3.
Yeah. This wasn't the last, but I think he had a cameo in that Around the World in 80 Days that came out afterwards. But this is like
The
the
Jackie
last.
Chan movie?
Yes, he has a cameo in it. He's like a
Okay,
small part,
sorry.
but this is like the last big starring movie he did until The Last Stand in 2012 when he stopped being governor. So what was when did you first see this?
Well, I saw them like kind of back to back. when
Okay,
my
so
dad-
the third one is out.
Yeah, but I knew nothing about.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking about the third one.
Third
aren't
one,
we?
third one.
I don't remember how I saw that. It was probably in theaters, and I was just like, "Yeah, explosion!" Yes.
This was the first one I saw in theaters.
This is the first one I saw in theaters. too.
Yeah. I really like this movie.
Do you really? Of course you. This is Tony's
You know what-
brand,
you know what it is?
right?
You know
He's
what
like,
it is?
oh, there's Arnold, and he's doing the talk to the hand thing. It's fucking hilarious. I love it.
the talk to the hand.
Talk to the hand.
Remember, he says I'm back. He says I'm back in this one, guys. Come on, he says I'm back.
I'll be back again.
I love the talk to the hand. I love the star glasses. You know what it is?
You know what you also love too? That
What?
fucking deleted scene of Arnold, like,
Okay.
why don't you come on down to fucking whatever?
I'm so excited to talk about
I'm the
Terminator.
model that
Yes,
they modeled
so
the Terminator after.
I really like this movie.
Colonel Dipshit.
And I recognize all the flaws with it, but I can't bring myself to hate this movie. I really enjoy it. Now, fans really, really didn't like that Judgment Day just got postponed. They were like, didn't we stop this? And they're like, nah, you just postponed it.
That's the least problem I have.
Honestly,
with
Arnold
this.
should be like,
Well,
hey, idiots, do you think they didn't make like copies on a floppy disk and take it to another site? You didn't think they backed up their work to another site, you fucking morons? You think blowing up one building was gonna get them all? Anyway, that's what he should have said. But I know Miles Dyson was like, yeah, it's all backed up. It's like, Miles, you're shitty. You should have had this is the most important thing in the world. There's been multiple sites.
I think it's his life's work.
Yes.
Well, he also
but yeah.
didn't want anybody to get their hands on it either. Like, this was
Yes.
his project.
But I mean, another Cyberdyne thing should have had it.
It's more or less airtight.
Yes, but instead it's just like, I just postponed it, which is building up to something later in the movie, which I like. But yeah, so like John Connor, after winning the war, he's like still afraid to live his life. So
He's like a drug addict.
Yeah, he's a drug addict.
He's living off
He's
the
like a
grid. He's getting
wanderer.
drunk because he feels like he has no purpose anymore. Even though the whole point was like we stopped Judgment Day so we can like just live our lives. You're not destined for this anymore. You can do no fate but what you make for yourselves. And he's like, I'm gonna be sad alcoholic because I'm not shooting robots.
I'm going to take horse tranquilizers.
Yeah,
and break into
dog
fucking
neutering pills.
yes, 'cause
he
gets
breaks into a vet office.
Yeah, he gets into a motorcycle accident and he goes to a vet because he's living off the grid. He can't go to a hospital. And she's like, we do this to chemically neuter dogs. But I like the premise.
Does that make him impudent?
Why did he fall over and pass out because he took too many neutering drugs?
His balls fell off.
She might have just lied to him just to distract him. So yeah, I kind of like in this, John Connor wins the war, this new war. He wins again. And I like that they send something back in time again. But the whole thing is just like, they don't know where he is because he is off the grid. So it's taking out his lieutenants instead. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the TX is the new bad guy. It's a woman, so woke. Sorry, it pops in and out there sometimes.
You never would have known, especially for that cop scene when she literally makes her boobs bigger.
That was a really important scene, Tom, because
that's character development.
Yeah, you know what else is good? That when she licks the blood, and she's like, "Oh, I know."
I do like that she has some kind of like like each film they get a little bit more emotions, but I like she licks the blood. She's like, "Oh shit, the primary target! I found him!
Oh, I did it! I'm a Terminator."
Excited. And everyone was excited to see Kristanna Loken because she was great in Mortal Kombat Conquest, that show we all watched.
Isn't she in Blood Rain?
She will be in Blood Rain after this movie.
Is she the titular Blood Rain?
Yes. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
She is. I think she did a couple movies with Uwe Boll. Now, the thing with the TX is it is a robot, again, with an endoskeleton with liquid metal on top of it to help her mimic. But also she has plasma weapons inside of her.
Yeah, inside her arm.
Mm-hmm.
So she can shoot like a plasma cannon and whatnot.
Just kind of cool.
It's kind of cool.
It's neat.
Not gonna lie.
The liquid metal is she only utilizes it to just mimic things.
Yeah.
I feel like she could be doing a little bit more with that. And there's a later movie that plays with that idea a little bit better. This also starts the trend of John Connor is Rusty Griswold now, where there's a new John Connor in every movie, and we got Nick Stoll. I think he does a good job.
I don't like that actor.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like him. What?
What did he owe you money or something?
No, I just don't. I don't care for it. I don't like this movie.
Oh.
And I don't like the John Connor he becomes. I think it's stupid.
Oh, do you not just like his acting in this movie?
Yeah.
Oh, for a minute I thought you just didn't like the person.
No. We're talking about this movie.
Fuck Nick Stoll. I hate that actor.
I got a personal fucking yeah, man. He owes me. Yeah, he does owe me fucking $10.
So be like, I don't like his performance.
I don't like Nick Stoll's performance in Terminator 3.
When you go, I don't like that actor. I'm like, oh shit, did Nick Stoll do something? Like,
maybe I did say that. I don't know. Usually, okay, yeah, you got me.
He's fine. What's her face? Claire Danes is in this.
Who's replaced by what's her face?
Bryce Dallas.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, so it's pretty generic. It's like good guy goes back in time, bad guy goes back in time, and I guess they all do make Arnolds. They make nothing but Arnolds. I thought the whole point for the infiltration bot was to like blend in. If they're just making the
why is there three of them?
Yeah, why would they make the same looking person?
We're quintuplets. Yeah.
But there's a
reason.
Tom,
I really want to talk about twins. Danny DeVito.
Imagine a Danny DeVito robot.
Yeah, we have a copy of Twins right there. Anyway,
Danny DeVito Terminator.
Tom, there's actually a reason for why they look like Arnold.
Why is that?
Have you seen the Sergeant Candy scene?
Sergeant Candy.
This is a scene that should have been in the movie because it's great. It's probably my favorite Terminator scene of all time. So in the beginning, the U.S. Air Force got everything from Cyberdyne and Skynet. Mm-hmm. They have Skynet now because they acquired it for whatever reason, and they're looking at a demonstration of like their upcoming robotics. Mm-hmm. And the cybernetic organisms they are designing are being modeled over a high-ranking sergeant called Sergeant Candy, and it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it's like, oh, that's why it looks like Arnold. And he sounds like this. Hi, I'm Sergeant Candy.
He's dubbed over.
I'm so excited to be the thing for that. Oh, yeah, huh? Woo. That's how he talks.
Hi, I'm Chief Master Sergeant William Candy.
And then someone in the room goes, I'm not sure about the voice. And then it cuts to this stern-looking guy going, we can fix it.
We can fix it.
Meaning that Austrian guy decides to voice the robot that they'll be making in the future. Doesn't quite make sense because all these people die by the time the movie's done.
Yeah.
So did that guy go to go to a sound booth right away?
It's already recorded.
Yes.
And they pre-sold the movie rights. This movie's like
So they cut out that scene. I think that scene should have been in. That scene's great. So one thing you'll notice about this film, which I appreciate, they decided, let's just go comedic. And I don't like when comedies become dramas, like a certain film that I'm not going to say the name of.
Oh, for goodness sake.
People are still yelling at me for it. But when like serious films decide how much can we milk out, let's just make it funny, I'm all on board with that. This is the Escape from LA of Terminator movies for me, where it's like, we're just going to do the same thing again, but make it fucking stupid.
I mean,
and I love it.
It's a little different, right?
Joe, talk to the hand.
Oh, fuck you.
By the way, this entire movie, I want you to look at this outfit. If you've never seen it, look at those toys, Joe, those toys that you bought.
Yeah, I see them.
He is wearing a male stripper's outfit. He didn't get a biker outfit. He specifically got a male stripper dressed as a biker's outfit. So he's wearing a male stripper.
That's hilarious.
I love when he's scanning the girls in the bar and there's like the heavyset one. He scans her boobs and it's like inappropriate.
Yeah.
like this would be inappropriate for you to wear.
Well, to your point, it's just a parody of Terminator. It's like, okay, this is like some sci-fi original bullshit. Where it's like, like Anaconda versus
now where I will
Crocosaurus.
Lake Placid.
Now where I will Lake Placid versus Anaconda. That's a movie.
Yeah.
Is
So is
Anaconda
Terminator 3.
fighting the lake? I don't know. So
slapping itself in the lake.
So one of the things that does kind of mess this up though.
One? Yeah,
yes.
kind of.
One?
Now it does have this comedic route and whatnot, but so there's this like underlying plot line of machines everywhere are kind of fucking up. Even machines that aren't on any kind of network, like a scanner. Anyway, don't worry about it. Machines everywhere are kind of buggy. And the U.S. Air Force or whatever, the Department of Defense, they're just like, what are we going to do? We have the Skynet thing. It's like, yeah, but if we turn it on, it'll take over all our stuff. It'll be in control and we'll be at its mercy.
That was the point of Skynet. Yeah.
So at the end, it's like, oh yes, Skynet planted the virus to activate itself. And then you find out, like, in the third act, it's like, oh, by the way, Judgment Day's today. And
yeah, it's in about 30 minutes.
Yes, and it's like, okay, so Judgment Day is today. And they do the usual stuff. They like go, it turns out, so Catherine is the one, she like in the future marries John. Mm-hmm. She's the one who sent this Terminator back.
Yeah.
So he answers to her. So they go to stop her dad from turning it on. Doesn't work. The Terminatrix shows up. There's actually a really cool fight between him and the Terminatrix until it turns into rubber CGI dummies.
See what you said there? Until.
Yeah. I do love the thing Stan Winston came up, the T1s.
The T1s are cool.
They're like tank treads with miniguns.
Yeah,
those things are fucking cool.
Yeah.
So Judgment Day is like happening. It's starting to happen. And then they get to the final base with the helicopter. They kill the T-1000, the TX.
He like
with the nuclear bomb.
Has his all spark in his chest that he blows up.
Yes, the T-800s have 2 power cells that, when exposed to the air and are damaged, do mini nuclear bombs. And they just drive away from a little mini nuclear bomb.
So do you remember in the second one where they prevented a nuclear holocaust?
I remember that.
You remember that?
Was in the second movie.
Okay, so now we're just facilitating it.
Yes.
Right? The Terminatrix comes back to be like, all right, I'm going to power up Skynet, baby, and you fucking start the first bomb. Let's do it.
Wait a minute. If Skynet knew Judgment Day, shouldn't they have sent the Terminatrix back a little bit further so it had more time to kill the generals?
Why why even bother killing the generals?
Because they're going to survive Judgment Day. And
Are they?
They
didn't know that Judgment Day was going to be that day, though.
No, they do.
Do they?
Yeah, the Terminator knows. He says, like, oh, by the way, Judgment Day starts.
Well, the Terminator knows.
Yeah, I'm sure the TX knows also. They have the same information in their head. They know when this Judgment Day happened.
I'm saying if it arrived one day prior, which it does, it could have just started it up.
I guess, but the point wasn't...
It does it anyway.
It wasn't supposed to start Judgment Day. It was supposed to kill the generals. It's like, give it like a week or two. What are you doing?
But it does start Judgment Day.
She doesn't start Judgment Day. Judgment Day's already starting.
I thought she does it. Like, she starts all the robots up.
Okay, so one of her powers is she can put nanobots and control machines.
Yeah.
But no, that guy turning Skynet on is what starts Judgment Day.
Oh, I thought or does it either directly or indirectly by doing that.
She helps it happen.
Yeah, okay.
But no, he's the one who said it. So it was always going to happen on that day at that time. You think Skynet would have sent her back. But anyway, I really like... the very ending of this movie, it's really dark, bittersweet ending, but it doesn't work in a movie that's more of a comedy.
No.
But I really it's like the guy lied. It was like, yes, Skynet's system core is in this mountain facility. Mm-hmm. And then it turns out to just be...
It's just a nuclear fallout shelter.
Yeah.
I do love the subplot of her turning Arnold evil and him like shorting himself out.
That's
Do you
right.
like that part?
Yeah, I like that.
You like when he has to battle with human
because he's going to
emotions?
break his prime directive thing and he has to like reset himself.
It doesn't work. None of it works.
It's really just like
But I like
a way
the
to
end
kill
where
10
like
minutes.
I didn't think they were just going to let Judgment Day happen.
It's just
I'm like, oh shit, that's actually a pretty ballsy ending.
This whole movie operates to a laugh track, and then at the end, it's like, well, that's bleak, and it's like, no, fuck you. You don't get to do that.
Now, if he had cracked a joke or something, that might have worked. At the end.
That's the pits or whatever. I can't even think of a good one.
John Connor looks.
I really dropped a bomb on you, didn't I?
John Connor looks at the camera. He's just like, Mondays, am I right?
Breaks the third wall, just has fun with it, you know?
Play
He,
the
like,
fucking
smiles
the
and
sad
freeze frame.
trombone over
He
it.
Smile and freeze framing, and then it just cuts to a woman's face being melted off.
His mother's.
Oh,
she's
his
already
mom's
dead.
Everyone was
Yeah.
upset about his mom dying.
Yeah, his
in
mom was
between
just
films.
dead in the third movie. They're just like, oh yeah, let's just change it up.
I asked if the first two were the worst because I knew that they weren't. But this is. I'm not going to ask you if this is the worst yet. But this isn't a winner for you, Joe. No. How about you, Tom? Where do you stand on this?
I think it's a good popcorn flick, but if you turn your brain on, you won't like it.
I can't turn it off is the problem.
Ah, yeah.
You know?
I think you both need to talk to the hand because I like this one. Now let's move on.
That's not my fault.
In the aftermath of Judgment Day and the takeover by the machines, John Connor, Christian Bale, The Dark Knight, rises. The destined leader. I don't know why they put that in there 2 years before the movie came out. The destined leader of the human resistance must counter Skynet's devastating plan to terminate mankind as Connor rallies his underground street fighters for a last desperate battle.
He's got Guile, he's got Balrog, he's got everybody.
He realizes that to save the future, he must rescue his own father, Kyle Reese, the late Anton Yelchin from Star Trek.
Oh, yeah, R.I.P.
But the most
Such a good
shocking
actor.
discovery comes with the arrival of Marcus Wright, Sam Worthington, Avatar.
That's him screaming, by
A
the way.
mysterious loner from the past who challenges Connor with an impossible choice that will determine the future of the human race, leading them both on a brutal journey into the very heart of the enemy. Now, I was pumped for this. As someone who liked Terminator 3, I was glad that we're finally going into the future war and done with the time travel
When
shit.
this came out in 2009, you're talking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was like, good, we're done with the time travel stuff. You can only, we did it 3 times. We did it 3 times. Let's try something else.
And it's waning. It's waning hard.
You literally made the same movie 3 times. You got lucky with the second one because the effects were new, but the third one, they were like, all right, we've had enough of this. So we're doing the future war, which is nice. Super excited. I was high on Christian Bale. He's a great Batman. I
too.
really like those movies. I was a little hesitant about McG. I love Charlie's Angels 1, but Charlie's Angels Full Throttle is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Never even seen it.
I didn't know who Sam Worthington was. So Avatar was being filmed before this, and James Cameron recommended Sam Worthington for this film, and this movie came out the same year as Avatar.
Did it really?
Yeah, 2009. Different
Which
time.
one did better?
This came out. This came out summer of 2009. Avatar came out winter of 2009.
Which one got another sequel?
There
There you go.
you go.
What are you
More than
talking
one.
about? According to IMDb, we're on Avatar 15.
Oh, good.
Yes. So
Don't age well.
I was really, really excited, and then I see the trailer for it, and then it says PG-13. I went, oh no.
Was this one rated R?
Yes.
It was?
Yes.
Really?
There's some cursing, there's some blood, there's rated R. Yeah, for this one I went, oh no. But I was gonna give it a shot. And then I saw it in theaters, and after being really hyped up for it, I walked out going, it was all right.
I really like this one.
Could have been better. Really?
Yeah, I really like it.
I think it's actually really good too, just because it's so different from the other films
Yes.
in positive ways and
I
not
like
so much
that it's
negative.
different. So I've rewatched it for the first time in a while, and I have seen the extended cut before
Definitely, I think you should watch the
Yeah.
extended cut. Yeah.
I don't remember it being much different. I mean, there's one scene that I think needed to be in the film. We'll get to that. Yeah, there's good stuff in this film. The problem with me is none of the people involved got on the same page script wise. This is a movie that is not sure who its main character is.
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Because they were like, Christian Bale, we want you in this to be the Terminator guy. And he went, nah, I want to be John Connor. And it's like, well, our current version of the script, he only shows up at the end. It's not really about him. So then they had to rewrite the script to incorporate John Connor. And by the way, this came out in 2009, which means they were writing it in 2008. What do you think happened? Writers Guild strike. So there wasn't a lot of changes they could make to this because all the writers were on strike. So a lot of things at this time were just stuck with these like cobbled together scripts, and they were just like, well, we got to put it out.
Dude, for a cobbled together script, I mean, it's pretty
It's
solid.
fine.
It's solid.
I feel like it has the most heart when it comes to like a script.
Yeah, especially
Like
for
they're no, go ahead.
No,
Really? Because
go ahead,
I
sorry.
feel like the movie's struggling. Like it wants us to like John Connor, and then it spends so much time with Marcus and Kyle.
because we know who John Connor is, and that's the point.
But the movie makes it seem like, okay, we're going to see the evolution of John Connor, and then he disappears for large chunks of the movie.
Because he's already, well, no, because he's coming up. He's not the leader of the resistance yet,
Yeah.
but there's enough of him where we got enough John Connor. We know exactly what he's going to do and what's going to happen.
I'm just saying, I think the movie was a little unclear what it wanted to be. Did it want it to be a movie about Marcus and Kyle Reese, or did it want to be a movie about Kyle and John? And at some point, it becomes a movie about not Kyle, John, Marcus and John.
Yeah.
And at some point, it becomes a movie about Marcus and Moon Bloodgood. That's the weakest part of the film. It would have been better though in the extended cut. There's a very important scene where she got a little dirty. She got to take her shirt off and she's very topless, washing herself. And I'm like, this is important to the plot.
Yes.
And they cut it out
Yeah.
because then a bunch of horny guys come to try and kill her. And I'm like, why are they so horny in the theatrical cut? And I'm like, why are they so? And like, oh, she was just showing her boobs.
Even if she didn't show her boobs, it's the post-apocalyptic setting.
No.
How many women are just traipsing through this part of the desert there?
And by the way, the women's hairs are all nice and done. They're wearing makeup. Who would have thought makeup and hairstyling stuff existed in the future?
I think it's written. I think this whole movie's written really well, despite all its drawbacks.
I just think
as far as a Terminator sequel goes.
I just think it needed a couple more rewrites, and I think we would have really had something with this. So the whole plot is this guy donates his body to Cyberdyne in the beginning, right?
because he's on death row.
Because he's on death row, and Helena Bonham Carter's there, and she's also dying.
Yeah.
So he donates his body to Cyberdyne. In the future, it's now 2018. It's years after Judgment Day.
Well, it takes place in 2003, doesn't it? The opening scene.
The opening scene is
Yeah, so
it's the Terminator 3 Judgment
Terminator 3 is
canon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So then cuts to the future. Well, I mean, why not make it canon?
No, it's fine, and
Yeah.
the way that they do it, I think, is good.
So John is like, with the military guys, they find a site that was being run by the machines, and they find out the T-800s are coming out a little earlier than they thought. And I do like, again, I wish the movie focused more on John, because I like this where it's like people see him as a prophet and other people are kind of annoyed by him because he hasn't quite made it there yet.
I thought there was balance with that though, because that is a plot point, like all the stuff with Michael Ironside and shit like that.
Michael Ironside, who can't sit in the movie because he just had horrifying spine surgery, which is why he's No, that's the thing.
I know, but like,
He's just like, listen, John. I'm like, oh my God, get someone else. Give Michael Ironside some time to lay down or something. It looks like he's going through a lot. So then this guy, Marcus, wakes up in the future and he's like, what am I doing? I'm going to help you, Kyle Reese.
the man cannot scream for his
And
life.
eventually, Kyle gets taken. They get separated. He eventually meets John, but that's when it's revealed. And again, with Terminator spoiling stuff, they spoiled this in the trailer where it turns out he's a robot. Or at least part robot. He is a true cyborg.
He's a cyborg, yeah. He's the prototype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's like this uneasy alliance between them, and you find out it's like all this long con. Like there's this whole thing where they have the signal to kill the robots.
I'm kind
but
of
it's
into
a
it.
big long, and I like this, the big long con just to get them to all come to Cyberdyne so they can just wipe them all out.
Yeah, specifically John and
Specifically
Kyle.
John, yes.
Yeah,
And
none of that time travel and shit.
Yes.
Well, not
And
yet anyway,
not
because
yet.
it hasn't happened.
It hasn't
yet.
been made yet. Yeah. And I do love they were smart with the CGI Arnold that eventually shows up. You only get a couple shots of his face, and they quickly shoot him with a grenade to melt his skin off.
I remember
that was smart.
I remember everybody making such a big deal out of it, and then when I had revisited, I was like, "This doesn't look that bad. Like, it doesn't look that bad."
If they lingered on it longer, whatever. If they did a Tron Legacy, it would have looked like shit.
Or a Grand Moff Tarkin, yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. That Grand Moff Tarkin looks good in a couple shots, and then it just
It's just too long. No, I agree. But yeah, they nuke him.
yeah. But the movie is a little choppy because, like, when I was watching this yesterday, John Connor comes out of the hole, and I'm like, wow, that dead guy looks just like Terry Crews.
He did look. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's Terry Crews.
It is Terry Crews.
Cut out his entire
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
What? They cut out his entire thing, but they left his dead body. So
Yep.
you sit there, and it just takes
Like,
you
is that
right-
Terry Crews?
If you don't know who Terry Crews is, it's whatever. But if you know who Terry Crews is, you're like, what the fuck is Terry Crews doing there?
Now I'm upset.
And he's Common's brother, right?
Yes.
Yeah, in the movie.
Which they mentioned that, but it's never
in
made
passing.
clear.
Yeah.
It reminds me, we did World War Z a while back, and like Matthew Fox's entire character was so whittled down to just like 2 scenes, and he barely says anything. It's like the guy from Lost. He's just a C level like supporting character in this because Val edited the movie.
Yeah.
So I thought it was okay. I've watched it a couple times since then, and it's fine. It's definitely not the worst thing. People were acting like it was the worst thing.
People hate this movie, and I feel like
It's a hard movie to hate. It's a easy movie to be disappointed by.
And they also skip it too. Like
Yeah, a lot of
when,
them skip it,
when Dark Fate was coming out, everybody was doing their Terminator marathons, and I saw a bunch of people just skip right over it. They're like, "Oh no, Arnold, fuck that."
My
And it's
favorite is Arnold making fun of this in an interview. He's like, he didn't come back with the 4th one. He's like, yeah, because it sucked. He did this while promoting Genesis. Anyway, now the one thing I think we could all agree on, the future in this looks nothing like the future in the other movies. Like, where's all the darkness? Where's the purple guns? Like,
not yet.
Nah. No, I want to see that future war. I want to see that goddamn future war. I don't want to see Mad Max. I want to see future Terminator war.
That's what it looks like in the daytime.
Where's the rows and rows of skulls? Because for some reason in the Terminator universe, people die and all their bones disappear except for their skulls.
Neatly stack them.
Well, the future that they always show you is usually like ground zero, like that playground and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So even though all those bones should be ash, anyway.
But this is the last one that Stan Winston worked on.
Yeah.
Although at this point he even admitted, like, he's like, I mean, my people do most of the work. I just kind of show up and say, do
he's
that.
a consultant.
But yeah,
He died-
It's
he died while-
dedicated
yeah.
to his memory. This and like Iron Man were like the last things he worked on.
John Rosengrant, I think, was the lead effects guy on this.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like the effects are really good. Like the makeup and practical effects are really, really good.
I love the primitive Terminators, like those first couple with that have the rubber skin on them and shit.
Yes.
Or the proto human skin that's just like rotting off of
Yes,
them.
they look like zombies.
Oh my god! And those scenes where like the machines aren't sure yet how to do it, so they're like abducting people and cutting their skin off and just like stretching it over robots.
Was that the extended version?
I think so.
Okay.
You don't see it actually in action, but you see like the experiments where
And
Sam Worthington is.
Then there were some other stuff where it's like, this is like a few years after Transformers, so suddenly there's a giant Terminator who has mini Terminators come off of him and turn into vehicle Terminators, and it's like, you could definitely see that there's a producer that was like, which I'm sure this was only greenlit because everyone was like, robots are in right now.
Yeah.
Iron Man, Terminator, Transformers, we're bringing Terminator back. You better put a giant fucking Terminator in
I think it's a cool fucking scene, dude, and the Hunter Killers are really cool.
fine.
In
It's
this.
done effectively, but I think at that point it was like, especially when you watched it live, you're like, all right, I get what you're doing.
Okay.
I've kind of already seen this.
For cashing in on that wave of shit that was coming out. You said it best. This movie has a lot of heart despite all of those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it actually cares about the lore of the first two movies and really does a good job of like piecing it all together, but not too in your face. You know what I mean? It's all kind of there sprinkled throughout. Even down to the scars on John Connor's
Yeah, I
face?
guess I was fine with the scar a little bit. That was fine.
I think that's fine.
I'm like, all right.
It's better than the next one.
Yeah. Okay. Do you remember what the ending was going to be? The ending they didn't use?
Shit.
Oh, are you ready for this? So you know how they stab John's heart at the end?
Yeah.
And they're like, let's switch our hearts.
Yeah.
My heart is strong. Originally,
He was going to become a Terminator, wasn't he?
it's like John Connor dies and Marcus like wears his skin, or it was like
Something like that.
they put his skin on Marcus.
Yes.
So he is technically John Connor. He's going to honor the memory of John Connor
And then lead the world.
and then lead the war. So they're being led by a machine. And it was like, yeah, I don't know how that one even got there. Someone should have been like, no.
I mean,
It doesn't help that the movie was building up to that and they had to rewrite it. And that's why they made so many, like, there's clearly lines of dialogue where they're like, your heart is beating so fast, that good heart that will be given to
Well,
John Connor later.
they say it a lot. Like,
Yeah.
wow, your heart's like really beating out your chest. When Lovegood's like, oh yeah, it's what's Bloodgood or Lovegood?
Moon Bloodgood.
Moon Bloodgood. There you go.
Yes, from Street Fighter, The Rise of Legend of Chun-Li.
Ah, gotcha.
Yes, that movie we all love.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm going this movie's weak, but not terrible. You like it. It's your favorite movie
This
ever.
is
You watch
this
it
is
all
my
the time.
yeah. It's my favorite movie. I watch it all the time. No, this is my Terminator 3. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how can this be your Terminator 3?
This is my Terminator
built
3.
off of Terminator 3.
But this is my Terminator 3. It's built off Terminator 3, but it doesn't need Terminator 3 to exist.
But then when you watch it in order, aren't you be like, why did it say Judgment Day was 2003? That makes no sense.
That's all right because it got pushed back.
Who's Catherine Brewster, who was a vet, and I guess now she can work on people because that's whatever. Oh, Catherine, fucking Jim's legs falling off, and
I
she's
didn't
like,
say
I once trimmed a bird's beak that was too long. I can fix him.
I didn't say I agree with it. I said it can exist that way, but if you just kind of ignore that little part,
No.
it works.
Yeah. So how about you? Good or bad?
So I thought it was good, but I almost think that 3 was better for watch value.
Okay.
So like I feel like the two movies are like interchangeable. Like so Salvation, I don't think it had very good action scenes like at all.
Really?
But the story
the first scene
was,
where they're
was
raiding,
definitely more like it kept me in there. Whereas the third one, garbage story, great, awesome action scenes, and this one just flipped the.
I did
the
like
whole thing.
the action in the scene in the beginning where they're raiding the Cyberdyne, the Skynet.
Yeah,
stuff.
that's cool.
That
There's a
one's
couple good scenes, but like again, the drama is back in the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think they did a lot of good things with it. Like they were able to explore what's in the future since we've never been there. Like they have the worms, they have the motorbikes, which are extremely easily to hack. You know, everything's easy to hack.
because John Connor knows how to hack,
And they even kick up that Guns N' Roses, dude.
yeah, they play. I do
was
like
cool.
how he's hacking into the door and everything.
Yeah.
Every scene that Christian Bale hacks into something, he pries off like a panel, just plugs it in and just it's hacked. He does
what he
that
did in
3
Terminator
separate
2.
times.
He's very smart.
I wrote a note down.
He's been preparing
because
his
of
whole
how many
life.
times he does that exact open the panel, plug into thing.
Yes,
I'm
but
hacked.
remember, guys, Christian Bale yelled at a guy.
Yeah, he did.
That was like a big thing. Remember that?
Oh, good.
Good for you. Christian Bale is such a like method actor that he doesn't break the accent the entire time he's in character. So even though he was flipping out and screaming at that
was
guy,
American.
he was doing it in an American accent. I'm like, good for you, Christian Bale. You've been doing this since you were a kid, so you know what you're doing.
I just for me, I just have too many complaints about the action scenes. Like when they defeat or
It's definitely
defeat
no
the one
longer- after
Terminator
the-
and Christian
after the
Bale's
second one-
crawling away. He
Yeah.
conveniently passes 2 like air duct pipes. One of them is for hot. The next one's conveniently for cold. And I'm just like, really? Like that's how that's like you crawl backwards on your back. Oh, that was lucky. I hope the next one's cold. And then I'm like,
I didn't realize how dumb that was. That's pretty.
That's
funny.
literally how it happens. I was very upset. I'm like, that's
He
how
froze him too early. It didn't give him time to melt all
But
the
this
way.
gets a pass because it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are going to love this movie.
Is that
Quote?
the first line?
Quote.
No, it opens with that.
You know who the quote's from? James Cameron, director, Terminator 1 and 2.
I heartily endorse this product.
I do believe he also said the third one was good, and I do believe he said Salvation was good. He seems to like all these sequels until a year or two after they come out, and then he goes, sucked. Anyway,
Where's my paycheck?
new mission, new threat, new fate. Arnold is back and better than ever in this explosive new chapter of the blockbuster Terminator franchise in the war of man against machines. Kyle Reese, Jai Courtney, the Divergent series,
That's what
the series that never even got finished,
That's what I know him
is sent
from
back
too.
to 1984 by Resistance leader John Connor, Jason Clarke, Everest, to protect his young mother, Sarah Connor, Amelia Clarke, both named Clarke. I don't think they're related, though. I just put that together. Game of Thrones. However, this time, unexpected events have altered the past and threatened the future for all mankind. Now, Reese must join forces with Sarah and her guardian, Arnold Schwarzenegger, to save the world in one of the best action movies of the year.
What year was that?
Yeah.
That was 2015. We saw that movie. Tom.
What other movies were out that year?
Star Wars: The Force Awakens, Mad Max: Fury Road.
Wolverine.
Well,
Wasn't the Wolverine movie?
The Wolverine was a few years before.
Was Logan out?
No, that was a few years after.
All right. Well, Star Wars: Force Awakens, and what was the other one you said? And Fury Road.
Fury Road
are way better than this
Oh
movie.
my god, Fury Road's
I
amazing.
mean, I guess. Jurassic World, do you put that above this?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So Terminator Genesis, me and Tom saw it. This was the second Jai Courtney movie we saw. We
Yeah.
were like, going in, we're like, well, Tom, I mean, could it be worse than I, Frankenstein?
Oh boy, get it.
What was your experience with Terminator Genesis, Joe?
The first time I saw it was when I watched all of these back to back, and
Oh, you didn't see it in theaters?
no, hell no,
Oh,
no,
you were out at that point?
I was out
What
big
a
time.
shame.
But you liked Salvation.
Yeah.
So then why not?
So
When
see-
I went back to revisit it, I was like, oh, this is fucking good.
Okay, yeah, so we saw, but this is the one where like everyone knew it was going to be bad. The trailers were bad.
Well, the trailer told you the big reveal.
Again.
Which was like way bigger than the Terminator 2 reveal, in my opinion.
So yeah, the
agreed.
twist that they spoiled in this is that John Connor is the Terminator.
John Connor is Genesis. He's
No,
the
just
Skynet.
he's just a Terminator.
Genesis is Skynet.
He's just a Terminator.
Are you sure?
Yes, the T-5000 is the one that is like the embodiment of Skynet.
The Doctor?
Doctor Who, yes.
Oh, well, yeah. But doesn't he like enter John Connor?
You know, he transforms John Connor.
Oh.
He's his own thing.
Gotcha.
He
So-
enters him.
Big time.
So,
He's like the TARDIS in there.
He goes right,
so
right for the
James
face.
Cameron talked
Right
about
for the
how
face.
much he liked this movie when it came out, and I think Mr. Sunday's movies, they made a joke where it's like, I think they only showed him the first 20 minutes, which is all the stuff that looks like his work, and he went, "It's great, I love it." So yeah, the movie starts with like, you know, the war, and it looks like the future war, how it
Okay.
should look.
Well, it takes place after 2. It ignores 3 and 4. But 4 is in the
Yes.
future, so
Yes.
it doesn't ignore it.
Yeah,
but-
no, it ignores 3 and 4.
So it's Terminator 3 again.
I think they were thinking of bringing
Yes.
Christian Bale back, but
the
when
second Terminator 3.
Correct. I think-
Third.
I read something where they wanted Christian Bale back, and I guess when he said no, they were like, all right, then we're just setting it in a different timeline. Yeah, so he saves Kyle Reese. We see them fight the robots. It looks cool. It looks like, I mean, well, it looks a little too CGI, but it looks similar to like the fight scenes in the first and second one. There's that cool spider robot.
There's some cool stuff in this, for sure.
They break into Cyberdyne.
Spider Robot? Are you talking about Wild Wild West?
Yes, I'm talking about Wild Wild
All right,
West.
that's what I thought. That
Kenneth
just-
Branagh's there.
Kenneth Branagh's
Yeah.
there. I thought that
I'm
was-
made of Frankenstein.
Yeah, so they what you call it? They break in the facility, they stop the war, but they gotta send someone back because Arnold's gone back. So it's like a nice little prequel. But
Well, we don't know Arnold's back yet.
no, they show him.
They're like, they come
When they
right.
send Jai Courtney back, though, he doesn't know that someone already sent back.
No,
Arnold.
they know the original Arnold has been sent back. They don't know
Okay.
about the second Arnold. They know about the Terminator 1 Arnold.
Okay, because the
is sent
second
back.
Arnold is the one that killed.
Yes,
John Connor.
So they send him back, and then we forgot to mention the Terminator 3. The good Terminator killed John Connor in the future. But in this
I
one,
thought that was Dark Fate now. I thought.
I'm getting the lines.
okay, I'm
blurred,
explaining
dude.
this to you because I watched both last night.
well,
So
I watched Dark Fate last night.
well, I'm explaining Terminator.
It's your
Genesis.
dark fate.
I thought we were.
No, Genesis.
I know.
Yeah, so evil Terminator's gone back. They're sending Kyle Reese back. He's telling him everything he needs to know.
Who's now a brick shithouse for some reason.
Yeah.
Is this before or after the memory montages?
It's around that time.
Oh, okay.
So while he's in the time displacement thing, Doctor Who kills John Connor.
Yeah.
And then that's where he starts getting memories of different timelines and him being alive in post Judgment Day. And then he goes back and everything's different because now there's a T-1000 there trying to kill him. The Terminator goes
I'm glad
back.
they were
He
representing
kills
the Asian community, honestly. That was very nice of them.
I didn't get that part.
Why not?
Because it was like, well, that's Arnold and that's Arnold and that's Arnold, but that's not Robert Patrick.
Robert Patrick's in this movie, by the way.
Is it? He's in the.
He is.
The scene
He
where...
is guy in hospital sitting at chair when Arnold gets thrown through the wall and goes, ah.
Mm-hmm.
He has long hair. You can't tell it's him.
Yeah,
anyway,
if you pause it, you probably still can't tell.
Oh my God.
Come with me if you want to live.
Sarah Connor's first line is,
remember
"Come with
when
me
I
if you
did
wanna
fake
live."
trailer reactions? That was like the first one I did. I used to do fake trailer reactions, and the trailer reaction for Terminator Genesis, it's like me being like, I'm real excited, and I'm watching it, and as soon as she says that line, I just get up and leave. And the rest of the trailer reaction is just an empty chair. It's an empty chair while the trailer is playing.
Because it's just like, why?
Someone
why is that your
used to
first
take
line?
everyone's trailer reactions and do like these layouts, and they included mine. And there were so many comments because everyone is still reacting. You just see me get up and leave, and it's like all these people, and it's just an empty chair. I can find my trailer reaction. I gotta see if I can find that montage.
Oh my
it's really
God.
fucking funny. Yeah, so the whole thing is like Terminators have been sent back before. There's a T-1000 waiting for Kyle Reese. Sarah
We're gonna line this up,
Sarah Connor, who has now been raised by another T-800.
which we don't know where he. Came
No, that
from
was. I'm
still.
sure that. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention. Starting with Salvation, this becomes the failed to start a trilogy. Every one of these movies was meant to start a trilogy, and they all failed right out the gate. So ironically, they became their own trilogy.
Yeah,
of the failed to start.
It's
a
the
trilogy.
3 threes. Yeah.
So they kill the bad Arnolds. They take him back. They save Kyle Reese from the T-1000. There's a big fight. They melt the T-1000 in acid. They kill the other bad Arnold again. I do like the T-1000 like dips a little liquid metal and that activates him again.
Yeah.
I guess it fixes whatever was broken.
It's cute.
And
There's some cool fight scenes.
and it's
Robot
like-
shit.
I didn't even think me and you were like, okay, all right. And then it's like, we can't go to 1997. We got to go to 2017. And then that's when the movie...
Because he had those memories.
Yeah, and then the movie, when they go to 2017, all hope is lost. It's
Because they're
now,
trusting this person.
yeah, because now there's an operating system called Genesis that's actually Skynet, that the Dysons were forming.
I'm sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Kyle Reese have something directly to do with the Genesis project? Or am I crazy?
Well, he gets memories of a younger self telling
Yeah.
him that it's Genesis, that he will plant later anyway.
Yeah. He's
so
his
the
own
whole thing
grandpa or
the
some
whole
shit.
thing that's different with this is like Sarah Connor, who hates Terminators, is now raised by a Terminator.
How does
And
that
she
even make
calls-
sense? Did he kill her family?
No, someone else killed her family.
Oh.
I think she said a T-1000 tried to kill her in a boat. So I think a T-1000 killed her family and then tried to kill her, but then Arnold saved her with a rocket launcher, which we know doesn't kill a T-1000. Let's not dwell on that. Jai Courtney's confused by this. They say they don't know who sent him back because it was meant to be revealed later. So Terminator skin can get old, but their exoskeleton, they're like endoskeletons, stay young forever.
Old, not obsolete.
Yeah.
Talk to the hand.
Talk to that. I do like that.
Is that still relevant? I don't know. Yeah.
Extended scenes. In the extended scene in 2 is when he tries to teach him how to smile, and that's where you get that meme of Arnold like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that got so memed that in this movie they're like, oh, we gotta have
Let's
a
do it.
smile
There's like 4 different occasions
Yeah.
where he has
He
like the
smiles.
smiling gag.
It is nice to meet you.
When they come for you, bad boys, what you gonna do?
That's really disturbing, right?
And that's like the funny gag, because I guess, this is the director of Thor 2, and I guess they love
and the cinematographer.
And the cinematographer. And then this is like their fish out of water, like not understanding human stuff, because it works so well in the Thor movies, but it does not work here.
I mean, Thor 2 was a really good... I can't finish that sentence.
And then the big
But we've
twist
already
is-
done it better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So John Connor is the T-3000. And he turns into like dust.
Nanoparticles?
Nanoparticle dust.
So he's like
Well, he doesn't turn completely into dust until later when he needs to. Before that, he's just like mostly dusty.
he's like a plague.
Yes.
That blows in.
And magnets can hurt him. I mean, I feel like magnets should be able to hurt all of them, but
Kind of like
magnets
Big
can
Hero
hurt.
6 with the little magnet
Yes.
guys. Okay.
And that's the thing. Now the mother and father of the hero now have to kill their son, but she knows that Kyle Reese will die after they fall in love, and Kyle Reese doesn't know that, and it's all wacky.
Why doesn't she just kill Kyle Reese?
She thinks she needs him to
make John Connor.
You must mate.
Yeah.
Come on, fuck in the back of the truck now.
Yeah, remember when they have
You
to like,
propagate.
Remember they have to get naked and hug each other to.
Jesus Christ.
And there's that like awkward, like she's like, "Oh, I'm not into you. Don't think that us being naked and touching meant any." Shut up.
Yeah, let's just shit all over that.
Guys,
that
what was
the first arc?
Yeah, what
in the first movie.
Fuck was the J.K. Simmons plot line where he's the young cop in the beginning,
Amazing.
and then he's a conspiracy guy later on, and then it never amounts to anything.
If it wasn't for him, the movie would have it'd be pointless.
Goddamn time traveling robots. So this movie's bad. This is something with magnets. The action is terrible. It's so green screened. Like the truck on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
It just looks so fake. They did a fucking cops joke in 2015. The bad boys, bad.
Yeah, that's the montage scene when he smiles the third time in the movie, I believe.
It's the time period.
That is so dated. That is so dated.
Bad boys, what you gonna do?
Anyway,
Agree.
we all think this one's bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shouldn't even been fucking made.
I think we mentioned this
Cinematography wise, acting,
mentioned
the
story.
clearly the story.
We
plot.
mentioned this in in our review that we did.
Okay.
But like Sarah Connor, okay. Emilia Clarke, a nice actress, beautiful looking woman.
Isn't she the mother of dragons? That one.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Now, if she was playing, I think I said this. If she was playing Terminator 1, Sarah, she looks fine.
Yeah.
But if she's supposed to be like a Sarah that's been hardened and training and stuff, she is not nearly as jacked as Linda Hamilton was in Terminator 2.
Skin.
No, and why is Jai Courtney so large? He's Kyle
stealing
Reese.
food. He's eating so many rats. They have a rat base where they grow rats, and he's eating all the rats for the protein. Duh.
Also, Anton Yelchin did an amazing job
In Salvation.
as Kyle Reese.
Hands
Like,
down.
Well, he's another one. I think they just didn't get enough screen time. I don't really get to spend a lot
He
of
had as
time.
much screen time as Frodo and Legolas. Like
Is
when it
it-
comes to Kyle Reese
sure. but like
and Christian Bale, all they said was hello. It was one line. I'm like, this whole movie.
Oh yeah, we did
is
joke about
based
that.
around
I looked it up. I really think Legolas only ever says,
Yeah, he
"Have
says
my bow."
Yeah,
That's all
he only says one line to Frodo the whole
yeah,
time.
shut up, you.
Yeah. So moving on.
I didn't like Genesis.
Welcome to the day after Judgment Day. Taking place after the events of Terminator Judgment Day, Terminator Dark Fate revisits the life of Sarah Connor after altering the events of the future with the victory over the evil manufacturing corporation Cyberdyne. Connor is once again called to action to aid in the protection of a young girl who may hold the key to a better world. Constantly being hunted by a dangerous new Terminator, she enlists the help of a female cyborg. She does not. To secure the future and the world from a potentially ominous and not so distant future. Directed by Tim Miller, here's where some of the problems might come in. Story by James Cameron, Charles H. Eagley, Josh Freeman, David Goyer, and Justin Rhodes. This movie had like 5 fucking writers.
Goyer wrote for this?
Yeah. I wonder what parts. So after seeing 2 failures, no one is excited for a new Terminator movie.
I mean,
James Cameron is.
When I saw the trailer for Dark Fate, I was like, all right, looks like they're trying again.
So James Cameron
Let's
got
see.
like full control of Terminator again. That's how this movie came about.
Okay.
And people theorize that when he was a consultant on the other films, he purposely gave them bad ideas so that would sabotage them and they would revert back to him. So he has the story and whatnot now. Everyone's like, it's going to fix it. It's going to fix it. They get one of the Deadpool guys to direct it. Tim Miller.
Tim Miller did this film.
Yes, they get him, and they're like,
It's a good looking film.
Everything's going to be saved. And then the movie comes out, and everyone got angry online.
Is
about the very beginning, because
it's the Alien 3 of the Terminator franchise.
From a guy who's been shitting on Alien 3 for 20, 30 years. Yeah, so John Connor just dies. He just died. There were more than one Terminator sent back. They killed him.
He gets his ass popped getting a fucking Mai Tai at some kind kind of didn't Arnold like walk out of the ocean because he was like walking?
No, he didn't walk out of the ocean.
I'm pretty sure he just walked out of the ocean.
Yeah.
No. There is a she has a flashback to the original Future War with Terminators coming out of the ocean.
Yeah.
And then it fades into what happened in 1992, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And Arnold just walks. He did not walk out of the ocean.
I don't know.
That
I was walking
really
underneath.
funny if he had walked from wherever he was. Yeah, walked naked. He's there.
He should have killed John Connor naked.
Yes. That's what I want to see in full CG.
Imagine if he like walked up naked and just like twisted his head off. That'd be pretty great.
So John Connor died. But Judgment Day was stopped.
But the T-800 just, I'm done, and just started a life somewhere,
which is what you would do.
He literally went.
Yes. So then the new thing is like, well, how do we do Judgment Day? And it's like, well, James Cameron's a smart guy. This is his baby. So what do we do with Judgment Day? Oh, another company made another thing,
Legion,
and they also made Terminators, and they're called Rev 9, but they're also called Terminators, and there's reference to Hunter Killers. So it's like.
Yeah, there's HKs in it.
Now, is this supposed to be like Terminator 3 where it's like, well, we got all the stuff from Cyberdyne. Did Legion get all their stuff from Cyberdyne?
They had to. Again, it's just another, it's just history repeating itself again, in a different way.
But kind of different. So
I don't fucking need it. Like,
so
we're telling the same story again.
No. It's very different. So good. So
yes.
This one's about a good guy going back in time to save someone from a bad guy going back in time. Broke new ground. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This one's about a good girl.
She's also not a Terminator. She's
not. She's a human with enhanced cybernetic enhancements.
She can move really fast for a short period.
Yes,
but
she's always dying. I guess she has toxic shock syndrome because you're not supposed to have all that shit.
Every time she does anything for 3 minutes, she almost dies every time.
Yeah, but it's like, who the fuck is putting all this shit in them?
Like, well, the whatever the resistance is in the future.
Yeah, but it can't be very clean or anything.
Well, no, I think
it's new. It's definitely not clean.
It's definitely new because they said she wants to volunteer. It's definitely like experimental. They haven't had it figured out yet.
Yeah.
So she's going back in time to save a tiny lady with tiny arms.
Danny something.
Yeah. When they showed the promotional image of all three girls walking, I don't know, the girl's arms look so tiny, like T-Rexes.
I don't know. The cyborg lady is a big lady.
The only thing she did other than this was 2049.
No, she's done a couple things, and I didn't really like 2049, but she was fine in it. She is terrible in this.
I think she's all right in this.
I never liked her character.
No.
I thought she was miserable to be around.
Yeah.
I didn't care about the young girl that they were trying to save.
No.
I'm sure she's a fine actress, not in this. Well, so Linda Hamilton is a Terminator hunter because someone gives her coordinates to Terminators, which are still being sent for some reason.
Why?
Are they being sent from other timelines?
It's other timelines concerning with different corporations, not Cyberdyne or Skynet. It's like a different thing now.
Well, no, because the Rev 9, that's the first thing she's seen. She's been killing one type of Terminator ever since. So someone gives her coordinates to when a Terminator is going to show up, and she shows up and kills it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
they never say how she does it.
No. Yeah, but it's also why too, because now that John's dead, who's the leader of the Resistance, and who are they going after?
Well, no, who's telling her to do it?
No. Who are the Terminators going after?
Oh, they're going after Danny. Danny is the
they are going after.
No,
She's the new John Connor.
But Legion's going after.
But yeah,
I'm talking the pre-existent Cyberdyne models.
So who the
fuck are they just going to kill Sarah Connor? Or
yeah,
you're right. They don't know who.
Or are they just there to kill anyone?
Exactly.
Like,
or
it's confusing.
Whatever.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
Yeah, so she tries to save him. Linda Hamilton is awful in this.
Phoning it in is an understatement.
She has a couple good moments. There's a really good line. There's a really good scene where she's crying about John. She's like, I don't have a picture of him anymore. I'm starting to forget what she looks like. That part was really good. Everything else with Linda Hamilton, especially when she's trying to act tough, is awful. So there's a few twists. One which was spoiled is where it's like, oh, the Terminator who killed John is the one he grew a conscience.
Sarah Connor.
I'm kind of okay with that because it's like, realistically, you send a cyborg to go back and kill someone. They have to do something till after Judgment Day. So they have to be able to learn. Because remember, the theatrical cut.
I solved all the crossword puzzles in the world.
Yeah.
Now what do I do?
Yeah. So in the theatrical cut, they just say they can learn. The extended version has the whole chip in the head.
Learning computer.
So basically, it's like, I guess.
Traffic.
Yeah. So I guess the idea is, hey, you sit around, you find something to do until after Judgment Day.
He makes up his own puzzles.
Yes. So he's there and he's learning. And I guess he develops a conscience because Judgment Day never happens. So he's around humans longer than he probably was supposed to be. I actually don't mind this part. It would have been nice to see some flashbacks of a Terminator changing diapers and shit.
Or something.
Because he lives with a woman who I assume is asexual, who has a son who refers to him as dad, but he's like our relation. Because Linda Hamilton, she's like, doesn't she notice you're 400 pounds? He's like, we don't do anything physical. I'm like, all right, I guess that's a good enough explanation. And he runs a drapery thing, which I did like. I didn't think that was spoiled for me. And I didn't think I was going to like it, but I do like the scene where he's just explaining. He's like, so the draperies have to be this.
If it's a little girl, it needs balloons. Or
like,
it needs some polka dots.
I kind of, because like a Terminator that's stuck without its prime thing, so it's going to learn shit. It's got to blend in. I like that he's like...
Drapery.
He's like, yeah, I learned how to make drapes, and I guess I'm pretty good at it.
Not like computers or like fixing cars or I don't know what.
No, that would have been too obvious. But yeah, I guess because I guess what would have happened when he's just like, oh, it's Judgment Day, and then I feel bad because he's like, well, Skynet took over, but we're still 10 years off for when my model comes around, so I guess I just got to wait around more. And then like he just sits there, and then who will be like, okay, hey Skynet, I'm back.
And then what?
Give me another program. Give me another thing to do.
Does he have to like submit an application again too?
He's like, hey, I killed him
because it's not the same place anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's something else. Now he's gonna wait around and it's a different fucking company.
Whatever.
They're gonna be like, you're fired. Get out of here.
Well, that's no, the other company, something else. Like he originally would have waited for Judgment Day, but then it never happened. So he has nothing. He's just learning to live with his family. I didn't mind that. That was kind of when the movie was winning me back after being boring as fuck. And then it just goes back to generic, horrible action. I will say the Terminator's good in this. Gabriel Luna.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I love the Terminator in this. I think it's so bad.
He was Ghost Rider in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
He can make like the two forms.
It's pretty cool.
Terminator 3 should have did. When I saw the trailer for this, I said two things. Well, this looks like shit. I'm never going to see it. And then the second thing I said was, oh, the liquid metal coming off the skeleton. They should have done that in Terminator 3.
And becoming another,
because that makes sense to me. But he's really good. I like the natural progression of the Terminators because like now he's able to make jokes. He's able to make jokes and like witty stuff to blend in more. But I like that he turns it off as soon as he sees the girl.
And that's what I need, right? Like we didn't get that with Terminatrix. Like she was making a joke to herself.
Catherine Brewster. She says something so
but
weird.
she was making herself laugh, and it's like, no, that's well,
you gotta make yourself laugh.
Anyway,
live, laugh, love. The CGI in this during the fight scenes, it's back to rubbery CGI from the mid 2000s. When they're on the plane, first off, the truck chase looks like shit. But when they're on the plane and they're flying around the plane, I'm like, oh my god, I feel like I'm watching Catwoman again. What is this? This looks so bad. In a modern movie that had a decent budget. By the way, this is now one of the biggest financial flops of all time. You couldn't fool the audience three times. Actually, no, 3 times because people didn't like Terminator 3.
Yeah. So this is Terminator. So
this is
3 part 4.
3 strikes. The fans and audience are out. They're not coming to the theater for this one. They'll wait till video, maybe.
So when's the reimagining?
The reboot?
No, just the reimagining. It's totally different with the same.
It was called Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles on Fox. I watched season 1 and thought it was okay. Never saw season 2. It got canceled.
Never saw it. I remember when it came out.
Anyway, Terminator: Dark Fate. It's a miserable experience, and everyone keeps saying the same thing. And you saw me responding to people. We're like, no, it's the best since the second one. Yeah, but it's the best since the second one. I'm like, yeah, but it's just another bad movie. It doesn't matter if it's the best since the second one.
And my response to you was, you're comparing a bigger pile of shit to a pile of shit and saying that this pile of shit is better than this pile of shit.
We're all gonna
But
agree.
it's all still shit.
Yes.
Yeah. We're all gonna agree.
No, it's the best one.
Is that supposed to make me feel better? Like,
It's like
You shouldn't have to compare it to another movie to make it better. It's
Well-
like, oh, this is great compared to that one. No, just watch just this.
Exactly.
And then you give me that answer. And it's like, oh, well, then it's bad.
I like when people
Totally.
the new Batman. They're like, man, it's the best Batman in a while. It's like, yeah, that wasn't hard. Did you see Batman v Superman and the theatrical cut of Justice League? Like, what's wrong with you?
Like it was a challenge.
Suicide Squad is technically a Batman movie. He shows up for a second in that. Anything's better than that.
it's also that thing where it's slightly elevated or slightly better, they immediately think it's amazing.
Yes, like Ghostbusters Afterlife. I agree, Joe, and I'm glad we both agree.
Why did they choose black nanobots? Like I'm just because
To differentiate.
because it's just
Slick?
cooler?
Well, because how many silvery shits have we seen over the past
Lots
5
of
movies?
silvery
And then there is a little bit of people were complaining about the politics and whatnot. There is a little bit of politics stuff with the border stuff.
There's a lot of bit of politics, man.
Really, I didn't think it was that. Maybe because other movies hit you over the head so hard with it.
Yeah.
This one was a little bit more restrained with it.
It's-
Like there's one scene where she was just like, "Where are the prisoners?" She's like, "We call them detainees."
Yeah.
And it's like that. You would never. That's not how you would answer that when you're being threatened. Like,
Yeah, when you're about to die.
I forgot that was in the movie
yeah. It didn't bother me. It was
because
like-
of what was going on at the time.
And I get it. I guess like putting it in Mexico and stuff because we had to. This is when Hollywood was like, "Well, we got to stop Donald Trump." It's like, yeah, Hollywood, you're gonna do it.
with a Terminator movie.
Yeah, Hollywood, you have such a good track record of not being a problematic person. You're definitely going to be the one to stick it to them.
Don't worry, Twitter will be with us.
Sorry, where was most of the Me Too movement directed toward? Oh, Hollywood. Right. Yeah, they're the people telling us how to live our lives. Anyway,
What do you mean? This movie was like an all-female cast except for the Terminator.
Women empowerment, man.
oh yeah, there is a little bit of that too. Although it was weird that Sarah just assumes that a man is going to be the hero. Like, oh, you're
Yeah.
gonna shit
Oh,
out
you're gonna
a
have a
boy like
kid.
I did. And I do like that thing where she's like, no, Sarah, she's gonna do it. This tiny 3-foot girl is gonna beat up a room full of guys that tower over her in the future. I guess.
mean, that's not the problem with the movie.
yeah, no.
You know
the
what I
problem
mean?
is it's boring.
Yeah.
It's by the numbers.
And it's more of the same shit.
It's more of the same
and
shit.
that's the biggest sin that it does.
Yes.
It reminds me a lot of Terminator 3, just with like,
Without all the
humor to make it interesting.
Yeah, without all the cheese.
Wow, all right, so it's worse than that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So now that we've come to the end, what is the worst Terminator film?
I would say Terminator Genesis. In case you didn't hear me, Terminator Genesis.
Okay. Genesis. Yeah, why even bother talking about the fucking spelling? Anyway, what is the worst for you? I don't know why. I don't know why you guys are thinking so hard.
because
You should have this
no,
decided
no,
dramatic
dramatic effect.
No, because it's one thing to see the movies and be like, that's what I think, and then it's another thing to talk through it and kind of hear everybody's different opinions and angles on it.
Yeah, because I'm sure 3 just moved up to 1 for you.
No, well, I was going to say 3. I was going to be like 3 totally, but now that I'm thinking about it and we're talking through it, it's like I think it's Dark Fate,
Really?
and the reason why it's Dark Fate is because it aggressively doesn't fucking do anything new.
Yeah.
Black nanobots. That's one. We got one new thing.
No, because we already. But
No. In
You're right.
Salvation, the early Terminators have black metal instead of silver.
Oh shit.
And
There
we
you go.
already
That's the one thing.
We already got Old Man Terminator and the one before it, and it's literally you went back and said, "Fuck you, Terminator 2. We're gonna make you again," and they did, but worse.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that's the problem. Like, this has its own share of problems, but I don't think it's as bad as a movie that could have that was set out to change the direction of the series
Yes.
and really make it fresh, like you said, to be its own new trilogy, and then just totally shit the bed on it by doing the same fucking thing that it said it wasn't gonna do.
Yeah.
So,
Oof.
How about you?
So it comes down to me. I think. Fuck, you might be winning me over. So I think, like,
kinda
story
makes sense to
wise,
me in my head.
script wise, production wise,
Yeah.
I do think Genesis is the worst.
sure, no, agreed.
You know what? I'll stick with that. Genesis is the worst. However, Dark Fate is the most boring one to watch.
Laziest?
The laziest,
Maybe?
boring one to. I'd rather watch Genesis, just because you can kind of make fun of it, but it does have a worse script. It has the acting is just as bad, equally, I think.
I think the acting's a little bit better in Dark Fate.
here and there, not altogether. You know what? The Terminators in it are good.
Yeah.
Linda Hamilton's one scene is good. Everything else is terrible. Yeah, I think Genesis is the worst. That one was definitely overly confident on that it was going to be a big, like, whereas Salvation kind of ends, and it's like that can end there.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it was wanted to do a future war trilogy, but it ends there, and it's like that's an okay ending.
Yeah.
Dark Fate, it's kind of like, okay, well, we haven't stopped this new Judgment Day. We have time to stop it, but it could also just end there like the first one does. Because the first one is
Like-
not about ending Judgment Day.
There's a storm coming, Tony, and we're driving off into the sunset
Yes.
again.
Yes.
Every time.
Yes,
Every
it's
time.
very, very generic. But like,
That's why T2, the director's cut, is the extended cut is the best because it's like we did it. Now
But-
shut the fuck up.
but Terminator Genesis, it's like, who sent all the other Terminators? We don't know. Who rewrote his memory? All it was erased, and oh, John Connor's dead, so there's no point in making John Connor. Now we're in this new future, and there's a liquid metal Arnold, and what's Skynet up to? How does Skynet go between timelines? Is it all one Skynet? Is what happened in the future that John left behind? Did Skynet kill everyone and take over instead? Like, there's just so much unanswered, and the action sucks, and it looks like a fake movie. Which is just stop looking like fake movies. It didn't look, it looked like a Saturday Night Live thing or something. It's just not good. But Dark Fate, I don't think I'll ever watch it again because it's just so fucking dull.
No?
It's so dull.
I'd watch it again. I mean, I wouldn't pay attention, but I'd watch it.
Anyway, that is it from us. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let us know your worst Terminator movie. Feel free to Feel free, whenever we do these late night ones, feel free to mail us something at our P.O. box. It's all in the description. Call us on the voicemail line. Joe, where can we find you?
You can find me at moviedumpsterpodcast.com, where I do a show with my buddy Sean O'Rourke, and we review movies. Some of the lesser known ones. I think we talked about Terminator Salvation. You can check that out if you want to do a deep dive.
Yes.
But yeah, find us on all your social media platforms. We've got a YouTube channel, so please subscribe to us. I'd really appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you all to the Hack the Movies fans that have the hack-offs. You're a bunch of hack-offs. No, we really appreciate it. I just want to, honestly, I want to say thank you for migrating over and kind of giving our show a chance and checking it out. So I appreciate it.
And if he beats me in subscribers, I will end him.
That means you heard it out of his mouth. Go subscribe quick.
Tom, where can we find you? Where do you live? What's your home address? What's your social security number?
You can find me at crithitpro.com, where I have a bunch of stuff. I do music videos, all that fun stuff.
Cool. Nice.
Feature lengths, short films. I even worked on, what's that show? AVGN, that's it.
Oh. Yes, you did some AVGN
I've actually
stuff.
shot a few episodes of that. Go figure.
Yes, you did. Oh, one last thing. Please leave a review on your podcast app of choice. Hopefully iTunes or Apple Podcasts. We are trying to get into the top 100 of film podcasts. Mm-hmm. We were close.
Are you not in the top 100 yet?
I think we might have been a couple times.
Yeah,
but
it fluctuates.
I haven't been following it, but I started following it since.
Because now there's two subcategories. It's like film reviews under movies or something.
We actually got a review recently.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Hack the Movies has a new review. The subject line, fine and fun. 5 stars. The description, or is it fun and fine? And that was the full review.
Well, that was very nice that they rated you the 5 stars.
So leave a 5-star, leave a review. Doesn't even have to be nice. My friend Carl does that. He's like, give us 5 stars, but then shit on us all over the comments. So leave us a review, call us. I promise to do voicemails again. I have a little bit. We've caught up enough that I think I can do voicemails again because people love the voicemails.
It's fun.
So feel free to call us, and we will talk to you later. Goodbye.
I think Capcom does a great job when they're adding collaboration characters.
I've never been able to extend this way.
Oh God, I gotta get the helmet on. Oh God.
Wait a minute, our guy's a bad guy the whole time.
I just think it's crazy that I'm better at video games now than when I was 16.
That is how you fix all the problems with all these games.
I feel like toy distribution is so different than it used to be.
They resculpted over the chest. They gave him a flak jacket over it.
I laugh when I see Among Us, but I'm not having fun inside. it's a reflex.
No, you took my joke!
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.